Hey, Buttercup. Hey, baby. Thank you for being the first one. How are you doing? How's everything? Happy Tuesday to you, too. I'm just trying to get my other thing up. Okay. Okay, it's a little chilly here today. What? We gonna have an early fall? What is going on? It's a little chilly, chilly, chilly. Yes. How are you doing today? I'm just waiting for some more people. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. What are you going to do for your birthday today? I hope you enjoy to the fullest. And I wish you many, many, many more. And I hope you have a great, great, great day. Today is your day. Good morning, Miss D and Chad. Hi, sweetie. How are you? How are you doing on this Tuesday? I feel tired. Today is kind of chilly. I don't know if we're gonna have an early spring or what, y'all. I mean, I like this kind of weather. I don't like it too hot. I don't like all that cold, there's snow and all of that. This kind of weather right here, yeah, I do like it. Yes, I do. And I know y'all have heard now, well, some of y'all may have and may have not, that some people stopped supporting Carmelo because I guess of the text messages and stuff that was put out and um he's saying that he didn't like black women and all of that stuff and people that wear wigs and I don't know, girl, child. I don't know. Hey, Auntie Cherry, I'm doing good, great, great to hear that. So, um, I don't know, y'all. What do y'all think about it? I mean, listen, I feel like people lose focus over the wrong things. Okay, now someone did say that these texts was from when he was 12 or 13, something like that. And it could have been. I don't know. I wasn't in his phone, so it could have been. But if it was, how you gonna hold something like that against him at that young age? And now he's 19 years old. Sometimes little teenage kids say things that they don't really mean, and we don't know if he was going through different things in the household. Um, Now, I did hear that um, it was some domestic violence in the home. I don't know too much about it, but they did say that. But some people have little children, like maybe three, four, five, so they don't understand what teenagers is really about because they haven't experienced that level yet. Then you have some people that don't have kids at all, and they haven't experienced that level yet when it comes to teenagers. I have. I got kids, I got grandkids. So I have experienced it. Um, and then a lot of people saying they're not gonna support him anymore, and that's fine with me. I don't care, because I don't know these people in real life. I'm not gonna get upset with these people because these people say they're not gonna support him anymore because I don't know these people in real life, and I'm not gonna argue with these people. And I don't give a damn. Okay, if that's what you feel, that's what you feel. But my thing is, they act like they were supporting him by going to the jail, saying and putting money on his books, putting money on his phones, going to the courtroom all the time and all that stuff. That's support. Carmelo probably know half of the people around the world that was really supporting him, so he wouldn't know if people would stop supporting him. He wouldn't know that because he don't even know half of us. He know people is supporting him, but per se, do he know who it is? No, he don't. So I mean, like I said again, y'all, the main focus is what happened under that tent that day with Carmelo. And like I said yesterday too, I really truly believe that those Texas was affiliated with gangs. I do believe that. I definitely do believe that. And I felt like they took the most damaging ones that was in the gang, out of the text messages, and I think they used that against him. That's what I feel. I feel like they took the damaging ones out, like with the blood on the knife, right? That was one of them. Um, and it could have been some more. So that's what I feel they did to him. I don't feel like that, he was saying this what he would do to somebody personally. I do believe this was all about games, and they took it out of content. Sometimes people run with things not knowing the full vision of what's really going on. People would take stuff and they would just, oh yeah, I'm gonna stop supporting him and this and that. Now, for as his mom, I'm gonna say the mom may did not know what was going on in that boy's phone when it comes to the games and things like that. And maybe she was shocked when her and her husband did hear about it, because I'm quite sure Mike Howard discussed it, what they found in his phone with the mom. I'm quite sure of that, right? But I feel like he probably didn't discuss everything. He probably discussed the most damaging things to the mom and the dad, right? Yeah, but we're not going to bring this in the courtroom. We're going to keep this out on his behalf because this will make him really look bad, So we not going to say this, and Austin, we're not going to use his character, in the courtroom, but not telling them of the real deal why they're not going to use Austin character because he's the fucking thug ass bully, that. So, and I believe that each parent didn't know what was going on with each other when it comes to the character thing. I don't think Mark Carmelo mother knew about what they knew about Austin, and I don't think Austin mother and father knew about what they knew about Carmelo. That's my belief. Hey, Latte. So that's just my belief on that. Now everything is out. Everything don't hit the fan. Now each mom and dad, they know now. And I know sometimes when cases come out big like this, it does take a lot of transparency, right? But maybe the mom couldn't talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that would have broke the agreement if she'd have came out and talked about it. Maybe that's why she never said anything, about because a lot of people was saying, because y'all know I said that too. I felt like it was more to the story. Something was going on in that courtroom wasn't right. I always said that from day one. I covered this story, and I say that with a lot of stories that I cover. I said that with that Dro story, and look what happened. A lot of things did not add up, and everything I felt was wrong was wrong. Okay, so maybe the mom couldn't come out and discuss it because she would have broke that order. So she didn't say nothing. That's why she couldn't be transparent of what they found in the son phone and stuff like that. Now, will she do it now? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, because Austin mother ain't doing it, so why people not telling her to be transparent and come out here and talk about what the fuck her son did? How her son punched women and girls in the stomach and knock them down and smack them, and tell her to come out here and be transparent and say what happened also now. Not only Carmelo mother, Austin mother should do the same thing. That's just my opinion. Everybody have their own opinion about it. But I think sometimes people could be focused on the wrong thing. Now I do know a content creator on Facebook. She did make a post this morning. She did say she apologized because she said she wasn't going to support Carmela anymore. But when she went back and started looking at everything, all the documents and everything, she did say she apologized. She started saying things before she got to look at the documents, right? And I respect her for that. I definitely respect her for that. And I don't respect her because she said she didn't look at the document. I respect her because she came out here to live up and apologize for where she went wrong at. Meaning she probably was just listening to someone else say, "Oh, I'm not gonna support him because the things that he said in them text messages and he said he hate black people and blah 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 blah." Because sometimes, y'all, we got to remember some people don't have a mind of their own. Okay? They don't. Some people do what other people do, they have to let other people think for them. They go wherever the wind blows. Okay? Me, I think for myself. Nobody can tell me who not to talk to, who to support, who not to support. I do what I fuck I want to because I'm a grown ass woman. Don't nobody put no battery in my back and tell me how to run my platform, who to talk to, who not to talk to. I don't do that. I sit back and I watch, I analyze things, and I'm glad she came out and she apologized, for not doing her research. And she did it. And she said also she think that people's taking those texts out of content, meaning the courthouse. Because I believe that too. I definitely do believe it. But anyway, again, people want to believe what they want to believe. They're gonna support who they want to support. So it is what it is. Like I said, the main important thing is what happened that day under that tent. What provoked Carmelo to do what he did to Austin. And I say the same thing about Nolan. The biggest focus is on what happened to Nolan that day on that island. What happened? What took place? His family deserved to know what happened. Yes, the Texas is out of content. Yes. That's why I don't follow down behind nobody. I do my own shit the way I want to do it on my platform. I don't come out here and just, oh Lord Jesus, y'all, did y'all? No, I don't do all that. I don't do all that. I got out of mind of my own. I'm too grown to be doing what other people doing and following behind. I ain't no fucking kindergartner. Put it like that. Um, well, hey, Missy, how are you today? I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Hey, Royalty in chat. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, so I mean, if you don't want to support Carmelo, don't do it. Hey, that's your option. You don't have to support him. Like I said, he don't know y'all personally anyway. You feel me? It ain't like that he know everybody that's supporting him. He don't know any of us. But I know he was thankful for the support. So if he lose support, he wouldn't know who he lost because he doesn't know nobody. And I'm not trying to sound mean and hateful and anything about it, but I'm just saying because some people's really taking this shit to another place that it don't need to be. You know what I mean? So it's just, I don't know, it's crazy. That's why I stay in my own lane, stay on my own platform and shit like that, because I don't got time for all that crazy, stupid shit. I really don't. It's just crazy. I mean, and a lot of people see things different. Like I said, if you don't have no teenage children, you don't know what teenagers really like. Okay, you can see it from other people that have teenage kids. But what I'm saying, if you don't have teenage kids, you don't know because you never experienced it. Because you don't have teenage children, you have little children. And if you don't have no children at all, you still can't say much because you don't have children. You never experienced it. You want to see what other people went through. But when you experience things on your own, you can talk about it. And this is why I don't go to people with from advice when they haven't been through something I've been through. That's just like me going to a woman never been married before. What the fuck I want your I don't even want your advice. You never been married before. You don't know shit about marriage. I don't think I want your advice. Like, I'm just y'all. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying, like, 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 no, I just can't take everybody advice, y'all. I just can't. And I just cannot be on a bandwagon with everybody. I'm just my own person, my own woman. I think for myself. And I always think that's why a lot of people in the world didn't like me, which I never gave a fuck. You know what I mean? Because I didn't do what they wanted me to do, say what they wanted me to say. You know what I'm saying? I just never was that person you can just string along and make me say and do what you want me to do to make you feel good, to make you feel validated, to make you feel like you got control over me. Like I'm not that type of person at all. Like no. Let me see. All I would like to is justice under the law for Carmelo. Did not when he. That's what I'm talking about, sis. That's what I'm talking about. That's all we saying. Yes, he didn't get a fair trial. That's it, and that's all I want for him, a fair trial. That's it. Carmelo still got railroad. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Let's leave all the text messages and out and all that stuff. That boy got railroad. He got railroad. He did. Absolutely. I definitely agree with that. And he is a kid that made some poor choices. Facts. And I can talk, y'all, because I have sons. I have sons. So I know what it's like raising teenage boys. I don't know everything my kids have said in their goddamn phones or everything they have said behind my back. I don't know that. I still listen. My kids is grown, right? And they probably done said some shit in their goddamn phones to people and behind my back, and I still don't know shit about it. You see? But have I ever taught my kids to hate people? No, never ever taught my kids to hate people. You know, now if someone came and told me, "Oh, your son said this," or "Yo," you know what, y'all? I never had problems out of my daughters. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Like, I don't know, y'all. They was just the perfect little girls. Like, I never had no problems out of my daughters. But my boys, yeah, they took me through there, you know. So, you know, and when people would tell me things about them, I never would say, "Oh, that wasn't my son. He ain't say that." I would check into it, dig into it, to see what the situation was, because my son's not perfect. Okay, and I know my sons can get mad and say some fucked up ass shit, and I got to correct them. I have done it many a time, and I still do it to this day. And ain't no shame in my game. I do it. I tell them, "You wrong. Don't do that. Don't say that. That's not nice." You know, but you have to have children of your own, because you can have nieces and nephews, okay, and see what your sister or your brother going through with. But shit, do you got to deal with it? Nope. So you really don't know the feeling of it. Meaning having a child on your own, 13 and 14 years old and 15, and the world that we're living in today. You know what I'm saying? It's so much peer pressure out here. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Some people hey, Miss Walker, how are you? Oh, let me see. She said people got into their feelings about a wig and glue. Girl, come on, girl. Come on. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. People got in their feelings about some fucking glue and wig. Baby. Listen, let me tell y'all something. I am cut so different, y'all. And I thank God for who I am today. None of that stuff Carmelo said made me feel bad. I'm gonna be honest. He's a child to me. I am a full grown fucking woman with grandkids, with a granddaughter in college. Nothing he said bothered me. Nothing. Was some of this stuff disturbing? Yes. But it did not bother me whatsoever. Period. I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. It did not bother me. Now, yes, we can talk about it because some of the things was disturbing, but I still believe at the end of the day they railroad that boy. They definitely railroad him. He definitely didn't get a good trial. Definitely did not get a good trial at all. And the mom, maybe y'all can help me because I forgot the name of the state that the mom moved from. I'm not sure. I forgot. And she moved to Texas. And y'all, Maybe that's why she moved and left the state she was in and moved to Texas. Because maybe she know in her heart that her son was going down the wrong road. She knew, she probably knew he was hanging with the wrong people. He started doing things, saying things was not like him. And she probably figured, I can't stay here. Let me leave. Let me try to give my child a better life. Okay, okay, Louisiana. Thank you so much, sis. Thank you, baby. They said that Carmelo Anthony was young when he said that in the text messages. That's what I heard too. And that's what a content creator said on her live. Well, not her live. She made a post on Facebook this morning. I read it. Yeah, she did say that. And that's what I was saying too. That this stuff is, this boy was young. This boy was young. And maybe he was living with, when he was living in Louisiana with the mom and dad, you know, maybe the mom did see him going down the wrong road. She did. Let me tell y'all something, y'all. Let me just tell y'all this. Okay. Um, and I don't put my personal business out here. My granddaughter's in college. Her dad passed away when he was 32 years old. Okay. Nobody killed him or anything. He passed away throughout the pandemic. And my daughter was in a public school. My granddaughter was in a regular public school. And my daughter started seeing behavior that she didn't like. And she didn't know where it was coming from. Was it coming from the loss of her dad or the people she was being with? So what happened was my daughter called me, started telling me little stuff, and we came to a decision, to agreement together, get her counseling and take her out of the school. Immediately remove her. My daughter immediately removed my daughter out of that public school, put her in a private school because she started seeing changes. Do y'all know my granddaughter is beautiful now? She's doing big things. She's in college because my daughter seen the changes and she jumped on it immediately. She jumped on it. That's what I'm talking about. If you don't have kids, you don't have grandkids firsthand, you would never understand. So what I'm trying to say, this is why the mother probably could have seen things and said, let me go to Texas and let me move here because I'm seeing things, I'm hearing things, I'm noticing things, and I don't like it for my son. I want a better life for my son, for all my children. So let me get out of here. You know? Did they show the entire thread of the text? I see. That's what I have not seen yet. I would love to see that. I don't know if someone's channel got it. I think Neat could have put it up. I'm gonna check her channel out when I finish. Um, Let me see. Did I finish reading? Let me see your text. I will have to come. I would. It came to could to have to come from the video talk. Yes. He just saying that he likes. He was just saying what he likes. Right, Latte. Absolutely. Hey, Brittany. How are you today, my love? Um, and it's okay to wear wave and natural hair. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, listen, y'all, I'm not gonna bounce back at the mother, meaning put her down, put her husband down. I'm not gonna do it, y'all, because I have kids and I have been through that with mine. Okay. So I'm not gonna do it. Like I said, if you don't have kids of your own or you have younger kids, you will never understand what you gotta deal with when those kids start to getting teenage. I have a teenage granddaughter right now that's uh in the eighth grade. Thank God her mother don't have problems out of her. My, all my grandkids is in private schools. They took them out of public schools immediately, put them in private schools. So all my grandkids are in private schools. And my granddaughter, she's in college. She's doing great. I'm so happy for her. And God gonna see her through her 4 years of college. But her mama jumped on that very fast. When her mother started seeing changes, her mother jumped on it fast. Okay. She jumped on it immediately. She talked to me about it. I told her, let's get going. Let's get going. And she was grieving the loss of her dad. You know, she was grieving her dad really, really bad. So um, let's see. Let me see what she said. I believe Carmelo is in the school of hands knocking. He was going through things that he did not get at home. When he got out, he would be. Yes, sis. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm not here to knock down, what was going on in the household. I don't know, y'all. I'm just not like that. I'm just not like, if somebody come in my chat right now and tell me they're going through something with that child, I'm not going to knock them. I'm not. I'm a type of person, y'all. I don't like putting people down. I mean, I don't feel good about it. It don't make me feel good. It don't make me feel validated. It just don't make me feel happy. I don't like putting people down. Now, if someone come in my chat and tell me something like that and they want to talk about it, I can tell them how they can contact me and I can give them some advice on it. But putting them down, I'm not. Hey, auntie, I'm not gonna put them down. I'm not. I'm not. I just can't. And I'm saying that to say too, I'm not gonna put this mother down because I don't know what happened to her household. I don't know what her husband was going through with Carmelo. I don't know. I was not there. You know what I'm saying? Some people just want to ride the wave, y'all. I guess. I don't know. And I can't do that. Nah. I can't do it, y'all. So yes, I like natural. I don't wear fake eyelashes or makeup. I don't need it. I don't need it for a man. I I want someone that treats me right. Absolutely, Brittany. The court system act like they are perfect. Kids live and learn. That's life. We all said stupid shit. It, thank you. Thank you. My granddaughter is 13, and her mom be telling me I got to check her, mommy. I be like, what? What she say? My daughter would say things. She said, I got to check her. I put in check right now and let her know. Don't play with me, and this is not what you say. Yeah. So if you don't have kids, don't talk about it. Shit. Yeah, everybody go through something. Everybody go through something with their children. Everybody go through something with their children. You know. Nope, nope, nope. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect at all. But at the end of the day, that boy deserved a good trial. He did deserve it, and he did not get it. And he did not get it because I feel as though, again, they railroad him to keep the thugs out of the spotlight with their behavior. Okay? That's what I feel that they did to Carmelo, right? Because I don't think Carmelo stuff was as worse as they trying to pretend it was. Because like I said, I believe it was due to um games and stuff like that. And they went in picking, to the worstest little sentence. Oh Lord, look what he said. Lord, he said he was gonna stab somebody and lick the blood off the knife. We can use this. This is crucial evidence. So, wait now. Now listen. Now we don't want Austin stuff out here neither. So how we gonna work this out? Okay. Well, y'all don't say nothing about Carmelo. We're not gonna say anything about Austin. We're gonna let it go because Austin's was the worst, and they knew that. They didn't want the spotlight on Austin and his brother because they've been terrorizing Texas for the longest. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. My my mother tried to tell me many things and I didn't listen until I experienced it myself. Hello. Hello. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, I know. I know. And I bet after you experience it yourself, you straighten up, understood the assignment, and got it together. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So, let me see what Brittany says. Since they didn't get a retry, do you think that they can get a? Well, from what I'm hearing, I think that's I seen a guy on Instagram talking about it yesterday that he knows the Dream Team people, and he was saying that that's what they're working on now, a retrial. Hey, Auntie Barbara, how are you? That's what they're working on now. Yeah. Uh huh. So I guess it got to go to the Supreme Court. I guess how they do that. You know. Yeah, we'll have to go to the Supreme Court and stuff like that. But it may take a while, but I believe he will get it. I definitely do believe he will get it. And like I said, some people missing the whole point. Like somebody just said in the chat, I forgot who said it. Um, he didn't get a fair trial. He didn't. And y'all remember when Nolan's story first came out, right? Y'all remember, right? And then after a while, people were saying, "Oh, I think Nolan mother lying. I think Nolan mother leaving some stuff out. I think Nolan mother not telling the truth about some things, right? I'm gonna stop supporting her. Same shit. See, people think that people gotta come out here and tell everything about their child right off hand. They don't even give the people time to grieve if they're dealing with a deceased person. You know what I'm saying? Or get that mind, get that mental right before they even want to come out and speak. Or they don't know if the lawyer's telling them don't speak right now. This and that is going on. This gonna hurt the case. Blah blah blah. They don't know nothing. They would just come out here. Oh yeah, she just don't what want to say Nolan probably was this. Nolan probably was that. Like some of these people just get on my damn nerve, child. Like oh my god, I'd be like, what in the what? Yes, yes. I'll be like, what in the world is wrong with these people? They just want people to come out here and do what they see. That's a form of controlling in my book. And that's one thing I don't do. I don't play that shit. Nobody controls me how I speak. Okay. I don't like controlling people. And when I feel like you are controlling, I will block you from my chat because you ain't gonna tell me, oh, did you see my comment? Fuck your comment. If I see it, I want to read it, I read it. If I don't, I don't. Maybe I don't want to read it. I don't play that controlling shit. I don't play that bully shit. I feel like, some people they don't take things very well. Sometimes people can take 2 or 3 months before they come out here and speak of what happened to their loved one. Whatever the situation is. Some people will come out right off hand and just speak. Some people won't. You can expect people to just give the internet what the internet want to make the internet feel good and make the internet happy. Like who the fuck do that shit? Like, like y'all, do y'all understand why I always say I stay to myself? This is why I stay to myself. It's not about click, views, money, none of that for me. It's about realness. That's what it's about for me. It's about realness. It's about getting people's stories out. Let the world know what they're going through with or what they have been through with. It's not about money for me. I don't care about having 500 and 600 people in my chat. That never bothered me. Never ever bothered me. Cause God know I continues to keep on to be the person I can be. You know what I mean? And I always had my platform open to anybody that had a story that want to come out and share their story. Always been like that. You know? Um, so like I said, everybody go through things different. Some people likes to just talk early on and get it off their chest so they can start their healing process. And then some people likes to heal and then tell their story because they'll feel a little better that they healed first. So everybody is different. People need to understand that everybody is not the same. Me, when I went through my domestic violence, I didn't want to talk about it to nobody. I didn't give a fuck who wanted to be my friend, who didn't. I wanted to heal first. I didn't because every time I talked about it, I broke down. I broke down. I was tired of breaking down. I wanted to be strong to talk about it. I wanted to be strong. So everybody is different. I can talk about it right now and it won't bother me. But then, no, I didn't want to talk about it. So I don't know. Some people just I don't know. G, why do you think a lot of your black queens and kings are being underlive, hanging by trees? Whew. You know, to be honest, a lot of that stuff started happening after the Carmelo thing. That's when it started. I mean, it was going on, but not as much as it's going on now. And I see it's getting so out of hand now. I was reading on Facebook. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but y'all can let me know. The Texas Rangers restaurant or something like that. They said that the people, the cooks there was spitting in people's food and oh, I don't know. It's that's disgusting, y'all. It's just. Hey Terry, appeal court can review the issue of law and meaning they have to give a defense to the lower court. Okay, okay, okay. So how long do you think that would take? Would you think that would take like over a year for them to, you know, proceed with that? Thank you, Terry. I appreciate that, Terry. Thank you. Yeah. Now, um, I don't know if that was true or not with the Texas thing, but I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I will not eat out of there ever, ever, because even though if it's not true, it was put out on the internet like that, and I wouldn't trust that. Mm-mm, I wouldn't trust that. I just feel like it's been a lot of racist stuff going on since Nolan and Carmelo. This is just how I feel, and I forgot that judge name. I think Carlos. I think that was his name. He even mentioned that too. Yeah. Mm. Yo, this is a sad world we living in. It really is. Really. We have to stay prayed up, y'all, every day. Every day. Cause this is really sad. It really is. Really is sad. And see, that's what them people want us to do, go against each other. You see, like you see how everybody jump on the bandwagon? Well, not everybody, some people, you know. I'm not supporting Carmelo anymore. I don't like them text messages. I don't like what he said about the wigs. I don't like what he said about the glue. None of that shit bothered me. Like literally, none of that. He was a fucking kid. None of that bothered me because I know who I am. I stand in who I am. My truth. I'm a black woman. I'm a queen. I'm happy. I love me. I stand for me. That didn't bother me. That didn't bother me. And I would still support him and talk about him when I want. None of that did not bother me. Now, again, do I feel like it was disturbing? Yes. Before it's bothering me, no, it did not bother me. Now, I don't know if it bothered y'all. Y'all can say how y'all felt about it, and I respect all y'all opinion because y'all know me. Right, Roy D. I'm like spitting in the black people food, girl. I never go there and eat. Anybody got that restaurant in y'all area? Please don't go there. I'm just being honest. The world is getting crazier and crazier by the day. Yes, it didn't bother me either. Not at all, sis. It didn't bother me. It didn't bother me. Listen, when I heard it, I just said, "Oh well." Very disturbing, Carmelo. And I'm gonna tell you exactly what I said. I said, very disturbing, Carmelo. I said, but you know what? I still love you. I still will support you. I will always come back and spin the block and talk about you. That's it. It did not bother me because if I want to wear eyelashes, I'm going to wear them. If I want to wear a fucking wig, I'm going to wear it. Nobody can't make me feel bad about wearing eyelashes and a goddamn wig and goddamn fingernails. A little fucking kid. Is you crazy? No, it didn't bother me. Mm-mm. He's still a kid, right? And it ain't like he. Let me just be quiet, cause I don't know. It did not bother me, y'all. It didn't. I'm just gonna be honest. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people get in their feelings about stuff so bad. The things you should get in your feelings about, you don't get in your feelings about. But the things you shouldn't get in your feelings about, you're getting your damn feelings about. I didn't get in my feelings about that. That didn't even bother me at all. And people say, "Oh, she's crazy. She sounds like she's crazy." No, I'm not crazy. I'm for real. It did not bother me. He's a damn kid. And he still is a kid to me and my kids. Because all my kids is older than him. I have a granddaughter his age that's in college. It did not bother me. I'm just being honest. It didn't bother me. Yes, they want us to go against each other. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But I still stand 10 toes down for their right. Why they stand 10 toes down for their yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Now, and you know what? You right too, Auntie. Because look, now let's flip right for a minute, right? You see how a lot of people turned and said they wasn't gonna support Karmelo no more, right? Which they liked it that. Oh, yeah, because I was reading them comments, baby. Them white people in them comments, they loved it. Loved it. Loved it. Right? But you see how they sticking together when it comes to Nolan? All them white people was on that goddamn lane, that island, and nobody know what happened to Nolan on that island. You see how they sticking together, but you see how quick people came and said, "I'm no longer going to support Carmelo Anthony anymore because he don't like wigs and he hate black people." And that boy don't hate black people. He could have been going through something, and that's what I'm going to take it as. He could have been going through something in the household with the mom, the dad, the community. We really don't know why he said that. We don't have no proof of why he said that. The mom and dad have not came out and spoke out and said why he said that. We don't know. Okay, and maybe one day the mom and dad may come out and speak upon it. I don't know that. You know what I'm saying? But for me to sit here and say, "Oh, I'm not gonna support him," no, I'm not gonna say that. Anybody that's that's cool. Absolutely, Miss D. I miss you, Karen. Where you been, girl? Where the hell you been, Karen? You been all my life. I was wait a minute. Let me see. I was surprised by the people that jumped shift on Carmel. Yup. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. I'm with y'all 100%. Listen, if they find anything out about Nolan today, tomorrow, next week, I will not shift on him neither. And I'm not saying it because he's no longer with us. That's not why I'm saying it. No. If they find something now, can y'all remember when Nolan first passed away? They started talking about his mama. Oh yeah, people even was coming in my chat. Yeah, D, because his mama lost custody of the kids. I don't care. It's none of my business. That's not the focus. The focus on who the hell unalived him on that island. That's what I'm saying. Some people get too invested when it comes to certain stories, and that's why sometimes when I see it get like that, I will give up the story, y'all, and don't talk about it no more because when I feel myself like going to another level, meaning going off on people, I just like back off the story, and then I go to something else, and maybe I come back. But some people be invested in the wrong shit. I don't care about why she lost her children. I don't care. It's none of my business. Some people need to mind their business. Okay, yes, that's a little factor, in the story, But for me going digging deep and find out why she lost her kids, no, I'm not doing that because that's not why we're here. We are here because we need to know what happened to I was gonna say Alan. We need to know what happened to Nolan on that island and why everybody returned home and he did not return home. Long as her kids is healthy, they're safe, they're doing good. I don't give a damn. Anywhere I ever lived, can't nobody ever say, "Oh, she was nosy, always in somebody." I don't give a fuck about nobody on my block business. I don't give a damn. It ain't my fucking concern. They ain't fucking with me, and I ain't fucking with them. Meaning, in their business, I speak to everybody I see them. I go about my business. I am not a nosy person, y'all. I'm just not. I just don't like being caught up in shit that got nothing to do with me. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't like all that. That shit is crazy work. That shit is crazy. Like, mm-mm. Oh, okay, okay, Karen. Okay. Okay. I know you work hard. I was just joking with you. Y'all know I like to joke too. I like to have fun sometimes, you know. Um, who said she lost her kids? Well, that's what the rumor was when when Nolan's story first aired out that she had lost custody of the other children. She didn't have the other children, and the other children was with the dad. Um, I don't know if that was her. She was married to the kid's dad. I'm not sure about that. And then a content creator, which is a white guy that was on Facebook, he went digging into her background, went made a video of Facebook and put all her business out there. Put all her business out there. Okay, which was so wrong, because that had nothing to do with Nolan, you know. And maybe one day she may come on and share her story, you know. Who knows? And if she don't owe anybody anything. And I feel the same way about Carmelo's mother. If she want to come on and share her story, some things that she was going through with him, and this is the reason why things was said and things was done. That's up to her. If she don't do it, that's still up to her. I can't, hey, it is what it is. Yeah. What does that have to do with Nolan being unalive? Right. Yeah, that's so true. It's crazy, y'all. It's just it is. It's definitely is crazy. It has nothing to do with it. Mm-mm-mm-mm. But people will make it as though it got something to do with it. They will make it like that. I talked to a couple of my supporters on the back end last night, and they told me, "D, this has nothing to do with it. I'm going to still support Carmelo. You know, he's a kid. He's a kid now, and he was a kid then. Because again, I know some of y'all in the chat got kids older than Carmelo. Um, Me neither, sis. Yeah, that's I don't know. Everybody's just different. I know me. I try to stay. See, you got to be faithful, loyalty to yourself before you can be faithful and loyalty to anybody else. If you're not faithful and loyalty, okay, to yourself, you can't be it for nobody else. You know, that's it. Point blank. Period. Let's see. Let me see. There is no proof of her losing custody. Is the is that a smear campaign? Yes, it was proof. It was proof. The guy put the paperwork up, and I didn't like that. Yeah, but I don't know the story behind it, so I never wanted to talk about it because I'm not the type of person to insinuate, what happened. But it was paperwork put out. It was paperwork put out. And again, like I said, I don't want to insinuate what happened, why she lost her kids, because I don't want to do that. I don't want to talk on Nolan's siblings, um, because that's none of my business. I just didn't like when the guy did do it. A white guy did went up there and he aired her out, put the kid's father name up there and what was the custody battle over and stuff like that. He did all of that. Yeah, he did do that. Yeah, he did. For Christina, yes, yes, yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I said, I never wanted to. When people were saying like last month, I think in my chat, I told them I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to get into that because that was none of my business. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, y'all, let me say this: because sometimes people don't have custody of their children, that don't mean they gave their children up and they don't love their children. You don't know what people been through with. You don't know what someone was going through with at that time that they gave the kids to the dad. You just don't know. Everybody that give custody to the aunt, grandmother, father of the children, that don't make their bad mother. Now don't get me wrong, it is some damn bad mothers out here, but that don't mean everybody is a bad mom because of that situation. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that. So I never want to talk about it. Yeah. I searched, let me see. Oh, okay. Because the guy, he put up the paperwork and everything. He had put the paperwork up there. He did a big video about her. He did a big video about her and saying that she lost the kids. I don't even know how many kids it was, but like I said, I didn't get into it because I don't like talking about people kids. I don't like bringing stuff up like that. But yeah, and I didn't even want to watch the whole thing because he was just an asshole, straight asshole. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. But now we're gonna get into Neek. Y'all know I can't pronounce her name right, but we're gonna get into it because I think she had those receipts. I think she did, and I think this is the video. And if Auntie in the chat, let me know if this the video, because I think it could be. I'm not sure, but let's see. Let's see, guys. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button.
Some of the stuff that came up on Karmelo's side, because I know a lot of people are like, okay, well, go into the stuff that came on Karmelo's side, go into this, go into that, blah, 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 blah. And since again, I didn't get to it in this, we'll make a dedicated live to comb through some of that stuff. Now, this is like, this is bigger to me than
Yeah, Karen, you've
Karmelo.
been with me for a while, so
This
I ain't into talking
is
about people
something
kids.
to
I ain't into that.
where the system, the climate, and everything is important to continue to support. Um, Normally, and this is where I'm gonna just keep it all the way 100 with you, okay? Normally, whenever I hear language disparaging Black women from a person in a case and they're dating somebody that's not Black, I'll be chucking the deuces up and I'll be like, child, you don't want our support, because it was majority women at that courthouse, right? So when I saw the text message where it says that he despised Black women and the wig glue is getting to their heads and stuff like that, I just wanted to do a PSA. Now, I'm not going to withdraw my support for Karmelo because I do believe that he was they were attempting to bully him. These thugs were going to try to hurt him, and I don't feel bad about him defending himself at all.
Now, I respect what she said. I definitely do respect everything that Neek just said. I respect that. You know what I'm saying? And I agree with her. I think they wanted to bully him because they was bullies. I respect that. I respect everything she said. And I respect anybody like her that got knowledge, common sense, and things like that. I respect people like her, you know. And if she would have said she would have withdrawn from him, I still would have respected her. You feel me? Because that's her rights to do what she want to do, you know. But she still says she won't withdraw. So I respect her opinion.
Should he have a nice? Maybe not, but in his mind, that's what he felt like he needed to do. I think that it's important that we continue to support the Karmelo Anthony family.
Yes.
But I think that if you are raising boys and you are a black woman, or you're a black man and you are raising boys, you need to sit your kids down and you need to have the conversation. It's so many times that we see cases where you have a black boy who's not dating a black girl, something happens, and the community comes for support, and it's the black women who are on the front lines. I feel like there needs
That's
to be
true.
conversations in these African American households. You guys need to be talking about that Courtney case. How you need to be talking about once we saw what that boy said.
And she is right. One of my sons dated a Spanish girl, and they had a little daughter together, just the little cutest thing in the world. And then my daughter have two kids by a Philippine guy, you know. But my kids not racist, and they don't say racist things. They never said racist things. None of that. They never did. But they're aware of this. They're aware of it. Okay, I put it like that. They are aware of it. Okay, but they never said anything racist out of their mouth. But they know it is big out here in this country. They knows that, and I love my grandkids the same, and everything, So yeah, she's right. I agree with her.
About black women, we chucked the deuces. She got 2 years left in her sentence. She killed his butt, and she's about to be on her way. We also saw all of the other cases, and so it's very important to have a conversation. Share with your kids, even the Karmelo situation. Share with your kids how, when it come down to it, who on the front lines supporting, who's on the front lines showing up. It was men at the courthouse, sure, but it was not that many men there. We were in large numbers, okay? And it was the black women up there making sure that they went over and above to support this family,
She
to
right.
help
I
and assist
agree.
any type of way that they can. It was in large number the black women who are out there protesting, advocating, doing what they had to do on social media to support, crowdfunding, raising money, going out their way to, rally up things to raise money on Give, Send, Go, or GoFundMe's or whatever to support. There needs to be serious conversation to you boy moms, okay? Because we see this often with boys, with you boy moms, that they need to watch their mouths when it comes to black women.
That's true. I
Okay.
agree. I agree with her.
And show them these cases. Show them how Karmelo is being done. Okay. Show them. And there's so many families who, and I'm not going to fault a family for wanting the best for their kid, right? There's all these people who they want to provide a better life for their child. I'll never fault anybody for wanting to provide a better life for their kids. However, we need to stay grounded. Okay, like you know what I mean? You move out the hood, but you might need to bring little Timmy to the hood sometimes to let them know, so that they can still have a connection and know where they come from. Because
Facts. I
I see a
agree.
lot of times where, these kids, they don't really have that connection to the black community, because you have this life that you're providing. You're bringing them to white people, and then they start getting these ideas of things. Somebody said, who made the wig comment? Carmelo Anthony did. Okay, so so that's all that I wanted to end off on. But thank you guys for supporting. I do have a Cash App. If you guys want to support, it is Neek at Night Media. You have to spell it exactly like this: Neek at Night Media. Like Fit Lawyer ATL said, it was really a grind to go and be boots on the ground. You guys do not know how draining it is to be up at 3 a.m., be at the court before 4 a.m. to secure a spot.
And that's why I said I respect her, y'all. I do, because I mean, she was getting targeted while she was there. She did everything she could do. She even went back the second time. So I can't do nothing but respect her. You feel me? Like she used her own money, even though she got some good supporters. I ain't gonna lie. She got some very good supporters that really support her and stand by her to make sure she was good with money, food, whatever, you know. But she did her thing. I gotta be honest, she did her thing. Even though, she was being attacked while she was there the first time, and she stood ground, she stood 10 toes down, she was strong, she fought them demons off in a respectable way, as a grown adult, and she kept pushing. She kept pushing. So I gotta respect her for that.
Deal with the tomfoolery that happens in the line. Every single day is some tomfoolery going on in that damn line. You outside for hours. We're literally standing there for hours before we can even get into the courtroom. When we get into the courtroom, it's not all fireworks and entertainment and theater. Like there's a large amount of it that's boring, like you have to really sit through that. So the dedication that each content creator has, it's important for you guys to support. Now, it's not mandatory, but those are the type of things that you have to think about when you're going to cite people that are credible, because there's so many people who do have a lot of misinformation, and you do have certain people who are just making it up as they go. But you have to, if you want the people that's going to tell the truth.
And she right about that too. I gotta agree. And that's why y'all always hear me say, I try to stick with content creators that I know going to put accurate information out, because I don't want to bring nothing to y'all that's fake. And I always say, if y'all ask me stuff, I'd be like, oh, I'm not sure. I heard, but I don't know if it's true or false. I don't know. Something like that. And I always try to stick with content creators that I know that was boots on the ground when it came to Karmelo. And I know that NJ, and not NJ, North Carolina Beat, he was there. Queen Sheba was there. Neek Knight was there. The other guy, Smash, I like playing his stuff. He was there both times. And it was somebody else, I can't remember. Who the ATL attorney, she went this time. I don't know if she went the first time, but I do know she went this time. Um, I can't think of who else. I think Mel was there the first time. I don't think he went the second time. So I try to stick with people that I know that was there, and I try to stick with people that I know that if I've been watching their commentary a lot, that they put out facts information, because I don't want to bring y'all no crazy stuff with all them AI channels and all that stuff, y'all. I don't want to do all that shit. Because like I said before, it's not about views for me, y'all. I don't give a damn. I really don't care about the views, none of that. You know what I'm saying? So, so that don't bother me.
Tell it like it is, give you the raw and the real. You need to support those individuals. You get what I'm saying? Somebody said, especially in a different time zone, right? I'm from California, so 3 a.m. is, like my body was all out of whack. But I want to close out by telling Dominic Alexander, thank you for offering up his office space. He then opened up his office and said, listen, look, we're going to plug up the lights. We're going to plug up the camera. All right, deuces, let me know if you need anything. So I just been here by myself for hours, and I'm glad that he trusted me to provide his space. I appreciate you so much. He has the Next Generation Action Network. I always have to look back at my paper because, child, I'll be forgetting. So shout out to him. Also, shout out to the new Black Panther Party. They gave me a security detail. Again, I told you guys in my other video that per what happened during the trial the last time, I felt that it was necessary for me to have security. Okay. And so I reached out to the new Black Panther Party and I said, hey, I'm going to be coming out there. I need security. And I'm willing to pay. Like, I'll pay for security. They didn't charge me a thing. They said, girl, we don't charge you. Like, girl, this is what we do. They provided me with a security detail. Now, I've seen them going viral. There was somebody who did an interview with them, and then like people were like making fun of them. They have some real experienced MMA fighters, some real experienced people in martial arts. Y'all letting looks deceive y'all. Like they have some
Yeah,
experienced
because them
people,
Black
and one
Panthers,
of the
they go
guys
they,
that
they
was
go to
with me
training
was
and everything.
really like real deal
Yeah, they
Holyfield.
do.
Like,
She ain't lying.
so I'm grateful that they provided me with a security detail, somebody that can assist me in my time of need where I felt like it was necessary to go out there with security and make sure that I was covered, because I don't trust these supremacists out here. I don't trust them at all. Okay. I don't trust them not one bit. And even though I think that they look like goofy goobers, you never know what they're capable of. You see how demented Austin and Hunter were, and you see who they aligned themselves with. I don't trust these motherfuckers farther than I can throw them.
I
I
feel
don't know
you.
what they're capable of, even if they look silly, even if they got wobble knees and pigeon toed. And I don't trust these motherfuckers. They're evil. So, it was very necessary for me to make sure. So I appreciate everybody who also has been viewing my lives. I appreciate everybody who supported this journey. I appreciate everybody who sent in a super chat, sent in a cash app, hit like on the video. Like if you couldn't like the video, at least if you can't go to Bella Noche's and hit like on the video, like girl, what is we doing? Okay, at least hit like. So I appreciate all of you guys. Hit share the video. I'm gonna be flying home. Okay, so the next time that y'all see me, I'll be at home, child. I won't have this fancy setup. Okay. And so I will keep y'all updated. Y'all let me know what stories you guys want me to cover. What stories do we need to catch up on? Because we gotta grind. Okay, the grind don't stop. Little Dirk trial is currently going on, but I don't know if I want, like, I'm in Cali and I can go to Lil Durk, but I don't know that I want to. Keefy D, I think that's still going on too. But y'all let me know. Y'all let me know what y'all want me to cover, and we'll do that. So I will talk to y'all later, and I appreciate y'all so much.
So y'all heard it there. She says she's still going to support him and everything. I'm so glad that
Nolan's former friends, these three white boys.
I wanted to I'm glad that she's still supporting him. Yeah, we need to know what happened. And poor little Nolan mother. I feel so bad for Nolan mother, y'all. Like y'all, I just don't understand why this lady is just not getting um answers, y'all. Why she's not getting answers for her son. Like this is crazy to me. I don't know. I'm trying to find. Okay, here we go. Okay, let's go to Willie D because he did a live earlier.
Ain't no harm in wandering.
Let's see what he was talking about.
There's a bounty of fresh produce delivered daily for the taking.
All right,
There she is. That's a good doctor. How you
Hey,
doing?
good afternoon. I'm good, thanks.
Great. I want to save the grade for a little bit later. So, first question I want to ask you is, what is the biggest difference or the biggest forensic red flag you've seen in this case?
I can't say that I saw any red flags. As a forensic pathologist, I know how the process goes. So if you don't know a forensic pathologist, have you not talked to anybody about an autopsy process? Some of the things that we do might be autopsy or the second autopsy report. All I know is what your viewers and myself have seen, on social media or in the news.
Why would Nolan's lungs be retained after the autopsy?
Well, I have since learned that they were not. They were not retained. The lungs were sent with him for the second autopsy. I'm not sure where that information is coming from, but I have since heard that the lungs were there and the stomach. So, like I said, I haven't seen either autopsy report.
Wait, what she say?
But sections of each organ is saved. That's normal process of an autopsy. Anytime we do an autopsy, we will take a section from each organ and save it. We call it a specimen jar. And depending on the jurisdiction and the size of the office, we will save that for a year up until 3 years. That's because once the body leaves the autopsy room, the medical examiner, coroner's office, it goes to wherever. It goes to the funeral home. The body might be buried. The body might be cremated, or it might be going for a second autopsy. So once we release the body, if we ever need to go back and look at tissue underneath the microscope, that's why we have that. Because once the body leaves, we can't retain any other organs.
That's what I said. Sis, say what now?
I believe there's
Did I misunderstand her?
Of the lungs, but not all of the lungs were retained by the medical examiner.
So you caught that too, right?
Okay, so this is new information to me because
facts.
The entire time, the only reports that I've ever heard was that the lungs were retained by the medical examiner, the Mississippi medical examiner, the lungs and the throat. Why would that's what I heard, and okay. That's what I've seen. I haven't even seen any report contrary to that. To this, I mean, this is the first time that I'm hearing this.
Well, the neck, I did not find that.
Wait, y'all, as I'm crazy, as I'm bugging, did she just say when the man, the second guy, doctor got the body, the organs was there? Did I just hear that, y'all? And she said someone told her that? Y'all just let me know. I'm just make sure I'm not bugging.
We can save specimens. And it depends on where somebody trained or how they do in their autopsies. For example, someone might save in a drowning or strangulation case, someone might save the whole neck structure in that specimen.
Yeah, she said.
When I do autopsies,
all right, let me go back. Let me go back, y'all. Let me just
in all my cases, regardless if it's a gunshot wound or
right.
a drown, save that because that's what I do. Depends on where somebody can save specimens, and it depends on where somebody trained or how they do in their autopsies.
Examiner, the Mississippi medical examiner, the lungs and the throat. Why would that's what I heard, and okay. That's what I've seen. I haven't even seen any report contrary to that. To this, I mean, this is the first time that I'm hearing this.
Well, the neck, I did not find that alarming that it was saved. Like I said, in all autopsies, we can save specimens, and it depends on where somebody trained or.
Wait a minute, I think I got to go back a little bit more. Hold
autopsies. On. For time we do an autopsy, we will take a section from each organ and save it. We call it a specimen jar. And depending on the jurisdiction and the size of the office, we will save that for a year up until 3 years. That's because once the body leaves the autopsy room, the medical examiner's office, it goes to wherever. It goes to the funeral home. The body might be buried. The body might be cremated, or it might be going for a second autopsy. So once we release the body, if we ever need to go back and look at tissue underneath the microscope, that's why we have that. Because once the body leaves, we can't retain any other organs. So I believe there's sections of the lungs, but not all of the lungs were retained by the medical examiner in Mississippi.
Okay, so this is new information to me because the entire time, the only reports that I've ever heard was that the lungs were retained by the medical examiner, the Mississippi Medical Examiner, the lungs and the throat. You know, why would the, you know, that's what I heard, and
Okay.
that's what I've seen. I haven't even seen any report contrary to that, to this. I mean, this is the first time that I'm hearing this.
Well, the neck, I did not find that alarming that it was saved. Like I said, in all autopsies, we can save specimens. And it depends on where somebody trained or how they do in their autopsies. You know, for example, someone might save in a drowning or strangulation case, someone might save the whole neck structure in that specimen container. When I do autopsies, I save the hyoid bone in all my cases, regardless if it's a gunshot wound, a drug overdose, a drowning, or a natural death. I save that because that's what I do in all cases. In some cases, will I save the whole neck structure? Possibly, but it depends on what I see at the time of the autopsy. So this doctor might save routinely, might save the neck organs routinely. I don't know, but it's not, it's there. It's at the office in a specimen jar. And I would have no doubt that if Dr. Mitchell wanted to see what was in the specimen jar, they would allow him to do that. The thing is, they can't send that because it's biohazardous, right? We're saving tissue from a deceased body in what we call a fixative solution, which is formalin, right? Which is toxic, right? And we would never want to just send that willy-nilly. But that specimen jar needs to stay at the office. That is their property, their evidence that needs to be stayed there. So if somebody wants to come look at it, they can, but they won't send it. They won't send it out.
Right, because something suspicious have been found.
Well, not necessarily, right? And it's possible, but it's not nothing. I don't want to say something suspicious was found, right? But something may have been found, whatever that is, whether it's suspicious or not. Was there an injury there? I don't know because I haven't seen the original autopsy report, right? That doesn't mean, like, for example, like I said, if I see something that's an injury or even a tumor, right? So I do an autopsy and I see someone has a tumor in their liver. I'm going to save the piece of that liver with the tumor in it for later, right? Just in case anybody asks me, because I'm going to take a photograph of it and I'm also going to document it in written form. That's another thing. Photographs are taken at the time of autopsy. So there should be, and I don't know if you know, I worked with Dr. Roger Mitchell, the physician who did the second autopsy, and I learned from him, you can't take too many pictures, right? So when I do autopsies, you're going to see a picture of everything, even what we call negative photographs. So like I said, the hyoid bone, which we can see is a little bone that sits way up in your neck, it might be broken if someone is strangled. I take a picture whether it's broken or not, right? So the negative photograph, so if anybody can say, oh, well, you said his hyoid bone isn't broken. Yeah, here it is. Not only do I have it in the specimen jar, I also have a picture of it. So there's more documentation than just what is written, or there should be. Once again, I haven't seen anything, but as forensic pathologists, we should really be documenting not only in written form, but with photographs. And photographs, I mean, I don't think there's been any better evidence than a photograph. And so you're just not taking my word for it, if that makes any sense.
Right. It makes a lot of sense. You got a lot of people who are saying what does not make sense is that you got these guys who are supposed to be Nolan Wells' friends who go out on a boat trip and everybody come home except Nolan. And then you have this suspicious sea tow call of the sinking boat. And you hear clearly people in the background on the phone call in a panic. That making statements that's consistent with something bad happening to somebody, right? Nolan, oh my God, is he dead? You know, all of these, you know, people are saying, you know, you hear the words are we going to, can we cover this up? You hear all of this stuff going on. So people, there are a great deal of people. I do believe the majority of people in this country believe that that was foul play involved in Nolan Wells's death. You know, let's say drowning was suspected, though. What evidence should the autopsy show?
Okay, before I answer that question, I'm going to say there's a difference between cause of death and manner of death. So the suspicion and the foul play lends to the manner of death. The cause of death is the injury or illness that caused somebody to die. And that could be the drowning, that could be a drug overdose, it could be a gunshot wound, right? So that's what the body is going to tell us. So in a case of drowning, we call that a diagnosis of exclusion. So you just can't say this person came out of the water and they drowned. We can't say that. We're going to do an autopsy. We're going to look at everything and we have to rule everything out, right? Is there any trauma? Some people say, was he dead before he went in the water? Possibly. We may or may not be able to tell that depending on what that cause of death was. The thing is, in a young person, he's 18 years old, right? No medical history. I don't expect him to have had a heart attack. I don't expect him to have had a stroke. So if he was dead before he went into the water, we would have seen, not we, forensic pathologists would have seen a cause of death at the time of the autopsy, whether that was a fractured hyoid bone, whether there was, like I said, because he was strangled, whether something was in his mouth and he, asphyxiated, meaning he couldn't breathe, or he had severe trauma. We would have seen that at the time of autopsy had he been dead before he went into the water. But once again, drowning, a diagnosis of exclusion. So we are going to look at, like in any other autopsy, are there any signs of trauma? Are there any signs of natural disease? People could have a heart attack and die.
Okay, she said he couldn't have had a heart attack. He was so young and stuff like that. Well, then why is they holding back or telling this mother what happened to her son? Y'all, I'm just being honest. Sometimes I don't think they're doing shit. The prosecutor I played yesterday, he even feeling shady now, funny now about the case, that they're not coming out and saying anything, y'all. It's been almost, 2 months that Nolan passed away now? Because this happened July. So, yeah, September the 4th will make 2 months. And their last time they spoke on anything was, I think, July the 14th, July the 15th. Nothing else is being said to the mother. And it's sad because the mother don't even know what happened to her son still. She's still out here doing her own footwork. She has put in for the toll calls herself, because I heard on Don Lemon Live yesterday that that video thing, y'all, the mother have sent that to an expert so he can analyze those calls. And I'm going to play that live for y'all when I finish. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Water, right? Someone could have been shot and thrown in the water. But so we'd have to
I don't think he was shot though, but I know something.
In a drowning at autopsy, we see what we call soft signs. So we look for things like, is there water in the lungs, right? That could be because somebody was not only, they're inhaling the water, so the water is going to be in the lungs. And of course, if you have water in your lungs, the blood can't circulate, the oxygen can't circulate through your body, and that's why you die that way. So we might see that. If we don't see water in the lungs, doesn't mean they didn't drown. Once again, a soft sign. Another soft sign that we can see is water in the stomach. Your airway and your esophagus are very close to each other. So, your epiglottis, right, closes on top of your airway. So when you're eating, that's why they say don't talk when you eat, because your epiglottis gets confused and you might inhale a French fry, or when people say, oh, it went down the wrong pipe, that's exactly what they mean. So if your epiglottis is down, covering your airway, now that water you're swallowing the water. So you're going to see water in your stomach. So it's all in the same area in the back of your throat, your airway and your esophagus. So you're going to see water in the airway or in the lungs, or you're going to see water in the stomach. Just because you don't see water in the stomach doesn't mean they didn't drown. Another thing that we can look at is the sphenoid sinus. I'm not going to get too much into anatomy, but at the base of the skull, we can actually put a syringe and a needle into the sphenoid sinus and see if there's any fluid in there. Once again, a soft sign. When I say soft sign, just because we don't see it doesn't mean someone didn't drown. And the corollary is true too. Just because we see it doesn't mean someone drowned. So we have to take the whole case in totality and look at it. So
okay, well, how long is they gonna look at this body? I mean, them organs. How long? What the hell is they doing? They go back every day looking at them goddamn organs. The boy has been put to rest and everything. Okay. Now, how long is they gonna keep looking at these organs? Is this what you're saying? They gotta keep going back looking at these goddamn organs? Because how long they gonna look at these organs before they know that something happened to this child? How long is it gonna take? That's what the people want to know. How long? Is this case really at grand jury? Is it really at grand jury? Is grand jury really looking at this case? Or if this case just sitting there and ain't going nowhere? If they waiting for certain things to come back, what are they waiting for? Why they don't come out here and speak and say, okay, we did this, we did that. We're waiting for these tests to come back. I don't know how long they're going to come back, but I want to do a press conference to say what we're waiting for that's coming back. Okay. The case is already at the grand jury. The grand jury is looking over the case right now. We are all looking over the case. Okay. Because I know that the grand jury and the detectives, they work together. They work hand in hand. Because they got to tell the grand jury all their findings, what they feel like is suspicious, what this person said, what this person didn't say. They sit down and they have a meeting about everything so they can see if this case is a case to get an arrest and start the grand jury. So what is it? And again, do these boys know that they're never going to get arrested? That's why they came out swinging the way they were swinging, going on these platforms, saying the things they were saying, because they know something that we don't know. There's so many people invested, involved in this. When it comes to all these people, family members, they knew each other. What is it? What is it? What is it? Be real. What is it?
if we look at toxicology, right, we can look, I've had people who were intoxicated so much, not only on alcohol and drugs, that they fell into the water, right, with those drugs on board. But did they die from the drugs or did they die from drowning? Did they die with the drugs? And that's a whole other thing that we have to look at. That's the death investigation part of what we.
And another thing too, they're not going to close this case right away, even though it's Mississippi, right? And I'm going to tell you why. Because now they would have closed this right away, right? Now y'all just stay with me. They would have closed this case right away because the simple fact, you see what the detective came out and said. They don't see no foul play in the beginning. They feel like it was a drowning, okay? That's when shit spiraled out of control all across the internet, okay? But that's what they wanted. That's what they wanted to do. And that's what they wanted to say and close the case down. But when they seen everything spiral, went left out of control, and the world was not going for that, they doubled down. You see what I'm saying? They didn't feel that the mom was going to get Ben Crump, okay? They didn't feel that the mother was going to have all these legal stuff behind her, right? So what they're going to do now, they're not going to close it right now, y'all, because the mother got so much stuff that she done sent out for through her own legal team, which has been crumping them. So what they're going to do now, they're going to pretend they're working, but they're not working on shit. What they're doing, they're going to wait and see what the findings is when it comes to being Crump and his team. Because now what they're going to do, they're going to compare it with what they got and see how they're going to move. Come on now, y'all. Watch the play. Watch the play.
what we do. So we do the autopsy in a drowning, try to rule everything out.
Think so.
We do toxicology, meaning we're going to take samples of blood, maybe urine, the fluid from the eyes, and test it for illicit substances, alcohol, or even prescription drugs, right? Prescription medication. And then we're also going to look at tissue underneath the microscope. That's a complete full autopsy. When you have all of that, then we put the pieces together, right? We have the circumstances. Now we have the autopsy, what we see grossly with our eyes.
I'm telling you, Brittany, that's what they're doing.
We're going to look at the toxicology report, and then we're going to look at tissue underneath the microscope. Once we have all those pieces, then we can say, I ruled everything out, and based on the circumstances, this person died by drowning because there's nothing else, right? But at the same time, we know the condition of Nolan's body. He was decomposed. So that adds a whole different layer to what we can tell from an autopsy grossly with our naked eye or underneath the microscope, because it just might be decomposed tissue.
Yeah.
I know that was a lot. I'm sorry. I know that was a whole lot that I just said.
We need that. We need that information, though. We need that information.
Okay.
So it wasn't actually, it wasn't too much. It was a lot, but it wasn't. Okay. I think you can never get too much knowledge. But I would like to say this, that like, in regards to the decomposition, are there telltale signs that the body may have been moved to a location? For example, people are saying that Nolan's body was dumped there. He was saying that he was probably killed there. He took off somewhere, then they came back and they dumped the body to make it look like a drowning. Are there telltale signs that you can tell that the body was moved?
There can be, but not in this case. So people know that after you die or someone dies, there's a post-mortem, so after death change that happens. And that's called rigor mortis, and that's the stiffening of the body. Or there's also lividity or livor mortis, which is the pooling of the blood. So if someone dies and they're on their back, the blood is going to pool and you're going to see it on their back. If they die facing forward, the blood is going to pool and it's going to be on the front. So in some cases, we can say, oh no, that body had been moved because, one, the lividity pattern. If you say somebody, you found them on their back and I look at them and the lividity is all on their front, that doesn't make any sense. Same thing with rigor mortis. If I'm sitting in this chair and I die, my body is going to take the shape of the way I'm sitting. Now, if you move me to the floor and I'm still looking like a dead cockroach, right? Then I was moved. That even happens like if someone is sitting in the chair and after they die, then they fall out of the chair. So I can be able to tell that they were moved. Now you take decomposition, right? After about 36 hours, when your body starts to decompose, that rigor mortis I talked about starts to go away. So I can't use that. Plus, the body is, because of the bacteria, the body might change colors. It becomes green, it can become dark red. We won't be able to tell where the lividity is. So we're limited on what we can. So the closer to the time of death that we examine a body, the better we can estimate the time interval. So if someone is dead, they were last seen 8 hours ago, I'd be able to say, oh, that's consistent. But the further you get away from that, I can't have a true opinion to really help about time of death, or even did they die someplace else and then we're done because of the decomposition.
Yeah. Can an autopsy actually prove a drowning, or is it a process of elimination?
It's a process of examination. The thing, you just a body and say, tell us what happened. We need the circumstances. And I think that's where, the public sometimes gets confused.
Yeah, that's why I got confused. Yeah.
Right. Right. And I understand that because it's like, I'm a physician first, right? So we have to ask these questions. And I always say, it's like, if you go to your family doctor and you say, hey, doctor, I have this really bad headache. They're just not going to send you to the OR and say you have a tumor, right? They're going to say, well, how long have you had the headache? What does it feel like? Does anything make it better? Does anything make it worse? That's the type of information that all physicians need to have. But for forensic pathologists, we don't have the decedent to tell us. We have people who found when they were last known alive. We have to rely on their own medical records. We have to rely on the police investigation. The difference between forensic pathology and law enforcement, we are death investigators. We investigate the cause and manner of death. Whether a crime was committed, that's a law enforcement, that's a crime investigation. So we have to rely on circumstances to determine the manner of death. So the manner of death can either be natural, accident, suicide, homicide, or undetermined. So based on the circumstances.
And you're right, Karen. I agree with you. You're absolutely right. But that's what I was just thinking. I could be wrong. I was just thinking that because, the mother done sent out for all kinds of things to come back, text messages from everybody's phone, all kinds of stuff. So I'm saying that because look how long it's taken them to come out and say anything. Okay, so now that y'all seen Nolan mother is doing everything and Ben Crump team doing everything, are y'all gonna wait now till they get all their stuff back and come out and say what y'all say? Because y'all want to see what they're gonna say first, like y'all did with the autopsy, and then y'all still didn't say nothing. Like, what is it? What is going to take for these people to come out here and speak out and say what happened to that boy? What was their findings? What is it going to take? Now, if they already done sent the video, the recording over to a specialist. Okay, I don't know how long that's going to take, but I am dying to know what Ben Crump team is going to find in that recording. Okay, it's going to be, is that expert going to say the same thing that we heard? I am dying to know that. I can't wait until that part come out. But the thing is, what are they waiting for? What are they waiting for? Is this really a grand jury, y'all? Is this really a grand jury? Is grand jury really looking at this? In my opinion, I don't believe so. I don't believe nobody is doing nothing. I don't believe it.
So if the circumstances and the scene say that somebody fell down the stairs, that's an accident, right? If the circumstances and the scene investigation or the criminal investigation say they were pushed down the stairs, that's a homicide. The cause of death never changed, right? They're found at the bottom of the steps with head injury. I can say cause of death, blunt force injuries of the head. The manner of death, I can't tell from autopsy. I need the scene investigation to say, how did they get down to the bottom of the stairs? But the thing is, our job is to prove or disprove the circumstances. So someone can say, and I've had a case where someone says, someone picked up a gun. It was a young child, picked up the gun and shot themselves in the head. I look at the body's going to tell us the story. And I'm like, that's not true. Because I can look at the characteristics of the wound and say, no, it didn't happen that way. Law enforcement, you need to go back and talk to other people because this is a homicide in my eyes. So we can prove or disprove circumstances, but we need those circumstances. And sometimes the cause of death is undetermined and the manner of death is undetermined. Right now, where I sit without seeing an autopsy report, either autopsy report of Nolan Wells, right? I don't know what his cause of death is, but I definitely know without knowing how he got into the water, the manner of death at this time has to be undetermined. And who determines that circumstance on how he got into the water? That's on the law enforcement side. That's not on the medical examiner side. And if they come back next week, next year, 10 years from now and say, this is how Nolan got into the water, then we can change that undetermined manner to something else.
Okay, and continuing the association with law enforcement and forensic pathologists, when law enforcement has a particular narrative or belief, how much pressure is put on the medical examiner's office to be aligned with that belief or whatever that narrative is? And do they have do law enforcement actually have any influence or power over the?
Oh, okay. She said, "Gee, I believe they said that they have to collect everything first when they will participate with everything to they will everything with the grand jury." So y'all don't think that it's been too long that everything has been collected? I mean, I don't know, y'all. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to get y'all opinion too. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It just seemed weird to me. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking. Maybe we all are, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, y'all.
Medical examiner's office.
At least an update or something.
The medical legal death investigation should be an independent investigation, right? It should
Well, they
be.
have one.
It should be. Is it always? I can't answer that, right? And we all know there's stories out there, right? I don't know anybody personally, but I've seen people testify in court, and I'm like, did you really just say that? You know what I mean? So I'm not naive enough to say that some of my colleagues do not cave under pressure, right? You look at, there are two different systems in the United States. There's a coroner system and there's a medical examiner system, right? I know in a coroner system, sometimes you have these small rural counties and the coroner knows everybody, right? Or I used to be their doctor, or I grew up with their cousin, and they're not going to rule something a suicide because, oh, the family, I'm going to protect the family and not rule something a suicide, right? Does that happen? Absolutely. Is it correct? No. Our job is to tell the story of the decedent. We have a saying, to the living, we owe the truth. No, to the living, we owe respect. To the dead, we owe the truth.
What's the difference between the coroner's office and the medical examiner's office?
In most cases, the coroner is an elected position and a medical examiner is an appointed position. And I've held both. I was an elected coroner in Ohio and I was an appointed medical examiner in Georgia. So I had to run a campaign, right? People say, which is the better system? They both have their limitations. They both can be good. It all just depends on who's leading, who's at the head, right? Because they have to set the stage. They have to set the standard of how we're going to operate. I know for me, when I was the coroner and when I was an elected or an appointed medical examiner, I'm going to, one, advocate for my patient and tell the truth. Their family deserves that. Low on the line, but very important, is I worked really hard to become a doctor. All right. I can't see any circumstance in which I'm going to put my career, my reputation on the line for someone I don't know. So technically, everybody that comes through the medical examiner's office, every person I do an autopsy on, I don't know them. Right. But I know that that's somebody's child. I know that somebody loves them, and I know that everybody deserves the truth. Are there physicians out there who can cave? Absolutely, because they're underneath that pressure. Because as a coroner, you want to get reelected. As a medical examiner, you want to be reappointed. So there are some, instances where people fear for their job and their livelihood. So they're going to rule one way or another in order to keep their job or to just be seen as the nice guy.
Could an autopsy determine whether Nolan was injured before entering? Well, you said that. You clarified that. You said an autopsy can determine whether he was injured before entering the water. So the next question would be for me is, could decompensation hide evidence of strangulation?
She basically trying to tell you, yeah, they lie, y'all. That what she basically was saying.
Decomposition can to a point, right? Like I said, if he was strangled, the bones are going to be broken in his neck. Decomposition isn't going to cover that up. You're going to see that. You may not see anything on the skin, right? Because the skin is now decomposed. I know in the second autopsy, there's red discoloration on the back of his head, but there's no skull, there's no skull fracture, right? So we can see that there's no skull fracture. If somebody was just suffocated, we wouldn't be able to tell, right? Strangled, yes, because you can have injuries of skeletal structures. If somebody was suffocated, we wouldn't be able to tell. But if he was stabbed, if he was shot, we'd be able to see that, even if the body is decomposed. We would also, some things that might not be able to be seen is if there was a struggle, right? Are there any contusions or bruises on his skin or the deep tissue? We may not be able to see that because of the decomposition. It might be there, but we just can't tell the difference. Is this part of decomposition or is this really something? We can look at things underneath the microscope and that might help us, but sometimes it's very difficult. But like I said, I go back to Nolan being a young, athletic young man, right? So I would expect to see significant trauma to his body because I don't believe he would have died of a natural disease before going into the water. So that's what I'd be looking for. Why and how did he get into the water? Right. And like you said, could it be trauma? From what I'm hearing, I don't see that there was significant trauma to his body, but that still doesn't rule out how he got into the water.
Let's talk about qualifications. Mississippi allows certain physicians, nurse practitioners,
Mississippi ain't shit,
and registered nurses to qualify for county medical examiner roles, subject to state requirements. Is that standard too lax for investigating suspicious deaths?
I would say yes, and there's usually more to it. Like I said, coroners are elected, and coroners are usually lay people. They could be the tow truck driver who decided they want to be coroner. They could be, a lawyer and decide they want to. All they have to do is win the election, right?
How much
medical exam?
That's crazy work.
Involved at all? You don't have no training, no schooling, no nothing. So I could just pull up right now and become a coroner if I wanted to right now today.
Yep, you can win the election in your county and become a coroner. And some laws,
did y'all hear that? That is
require
crazy.
After you win the election, that you have to have 16 hours of training every year. Yes, that's the system. That's the system. When I was the coroner in Ohio, you just have to be a doctor, right? But it didn't say what kind of doctor. So I'm a forensic pathologist. I was a coroner, and there's other forensic pathologist coroners in Ohio, but some were OBGYNs, some were internal medicine doctors.
That's crazy.
Right? They're just they can be the coroner. All you have to do is win the election, right? And I'm not sure about Mississippi, but one thing to understand, we have the coroner system and the medical examiner system. Those are just titles, right? So yeah, if you want to be a nurse and be the medical examiner, okay, but
this is crazy.
You must be a physician, a forensic pathologist to do autopsies. That is the practice of medicine, right? Even though I'm a doctor and I have a license that say I'm licensed in this state to practice surgery and medicine, I can tell you what, you don't want me taking out your gallbladder, right? You do not want me delivering your baby because I'm not trained that. So I don't think that a nurse practitioner or even a doctor, a surgeon, a OBGYN, they can't do an autopsy. That an autopsy is the practice of medicine. A cardiologist has a stethoscope, a radiologist has x-ray machines. I have the body and a scalpel and a microscope. Those are my tools. So if you want to be a coroner, you want to be a medical examiner, those are just titles. But to do the work, you must be a forensic pathologist, board certified, I would say, a board certified forensic pathologist.
And what type of education you need to become a board certified forensic pathologist?
Well, one, you graduate from medical school, and then you do a residency, whether in pathology, and that could either be 3 years or 4 years. And then you have a year of just concentrated forensic pathology for a year. So after medical school, you have 4-5 years of training, and then you still train. I don't think you really get comfortable until about 4 or 5 years into practicing after your, what we call it, a forensic pathology fellowship, because you're not going to see everything in a year. You know, people die from totally different, ways. For example, my first electrocution death was after I finished my fellowship, right? So we're always learning. We're going to see different depths in different areas, right? I have a friend who practices in Alaska. She's had bear maulings. I've never seen a bear mauling, right? But I can learn. So if I ever go practice in someplace else, or different religious, there's some pockets of the United States where they have Amish communities, or people on the Indian reservations, or Muslims, or, Jewish people. We have to learn how to serve our community, right? And I think that's important, not only determining cause and manner of death for our decedent, but how do we serve our communities? And in this case, whether it's Mississippi or Columbus, Ohio, we owe it to our communities to have trust in us, right?
That's right.
To be sure that your medical examiner system in your county is doing it the right way. And what does that come?
Yeah, doing it the right way. Don't lie to the families. Tell the family the truth. What happened to their loved one? Okay, and don't take 10 years to tell them. Tell them the truth. They deserve that. If they don't deserve nothing else, they deserve that.
Back to it, I don't mean to get on my soapbox. How many people know that you elect a coroner, right? So you need to know, right? So don't go to the ballot box in November and not know you have to vote for your coroner, right?
Yeah.
Because we never think about the coroner role or the medical examiner role until it affects us.
Right.
Right.
What's the difference between qualifying as a Mississippi medical examiner and being a board certified?
I like the questions that he's asking.
Without knowing the full details, I heard what you said. It sounds like the medical examiner is just the position that oversees the whole system, right? And then the forensic pathologist, death investigators work underneath that person. And it's very important that the medical examiner, as the leader of the office, and the forensic pathologist work well together. I can tell you, I've had cases in my career where my boss did not agree with my ruling. Like if I did a case and I'm like, I believe this is a homicide, and they say it's an accident, then I'm not signing anything where I don't agree to it. Right.
All right.
So, or you think this is, you think this is a homicide, and I'm like, I think you're going too far, right? Or you want to rule it undetermined just because you think that's the easy way. I don't take the easy way, right? I'm gonna sit down and I am going to, once again, advocate for my patient, and then I'm gonna get so far, and then my hands are tied. And as the leader of this office, then you take responsibility for that. The cause of death is always going to come from the doctor. Always, always, always going to come from the doctor. The manner of death is going to come from the coroner or the medical examiner.
Wow.
What records would you need to be presented to you before trusting the official conclusion in Nolan Wells' case?
So in this case, I would want to know if they had a death investigator go out to the scene, right? So if there was a death investigator who went to the scene,
I
I want
doubt
to see
it.
their report. I would want to see the EMS report. I would want to see the police report, the entire police report, not the preliminary. I'm going to wait until I get the final police report where I can read interviews and statements and things like that. If there's any video, if there's any videos anywhere, and also definitely photographs. If there's any photographs of the boat, if there's any photographs of where he came from, where he possibly could have went into the water. That's what I do. When I have a drowning case, I like actually going out to the scene myself to say, okay, where did they come in from? Does it make sense that they could have walked down here, or did they come from up there? You know what I mean? I want to see, but those are the type of records I would definitely want before I made a final ruling on anything.
Yeah. What if you had, let's say, two pathologists to examine the body? They examine the same evidence, and one concludes that it was an accident. The other concludes it was a homicide. How does that go? How do you determine? Do you do a third one? How does that go?
So once again, the manner of death is an opinion, right? So both those pathologists are going to have to defend their opinion on why they ruled it an accident versus a homicide. And it just can't just because, oh, I have this feeling. You know what I mean? There has to be evidence that points to that. So what do you have that says this is an accident? What do you have that says this is a homicide? And once again, that's the circumstance that we need. Whether it's in a police report, an interview, it's the EMS report, that's the type of things I want to know. Other things that are also important when we're at an undetermined manner, I would like to know more about Nolan, right? Does he have medical records? Did he? I don't know. Did he have any significant history? Did he have seizure disorder? I don't know. Also, what we haven't talked about, which I can't not include, right? Did he intentionally go in the water? I don't know. Did he have any stressors in his life? Those are questions that we ask of all our decedents, right? We don't just ask questions, oh, because this person lived in this zip code, did they do drugs? We ask, I don't care how old you are, is there a history of drug use? Is there a history of alcohol abuse? Are there any stressors? Did you just lose your job? Did your wife just die? Those are very important questions, right? We know Nolan, this is what I know. He was a football player and he's going to college, right? Is everything okay in school? You know what I mean? Those are the types. So you have to talk to people who knows him, right? So I would be having a conversation with his parents, right? Just to find out more about Nolan, get his medical records, get if anything was going on in his life. And I'm not saying this is a suicide. I just want to make that clear, right?
You're just not ruling out anything.
Right, I'm right, exactly. I'm not ruling out anything because I just don't know. But we cannot put our blinders on and say that's not what it is, right? Yeah. Because we have to rule everything out. We have to rule everything out. But that's on how did he get into the water, right? Was he pushed into the water? Did he fall into the water? Did he intentionally go into the water? We don't know. So we have to ask those questions. And if we don't have a definitive answer at the end of the day, then that's why we use the manner of undetermined. Undetermined doesn't mean a crime wasn't committed. It just means we, as a forensic pathologist, we don't have enough information. So I don't want people to think, even if it's ruled an accident, right, doesn't mean someone can't be liable. Those are two different things, right? I've had heroin overdoses where I haven't gone to court, right? I've had cases that I ruled homicide that don't go to court, right? Because that's a legal side, right? What happens on the legal side is totally different than what happens on the medical side. We can have we can rule it undetermined. We can have I had a cause of death that's undetermined, but based on the scene and the circumstance, I called it a homicide. Did I know how this young woman died? No, because of the advanced decomposition. But I can tell you this was a homicide. And sure enough, I go to court, right? However it rules, whatever justice is, that's once again not for me to say. Justice they deserve, I want them to get. And also, I don't want anything to go wrong because I did something wrong. You know what I mean? Because we say, I never want an innocent person to go to jail, but I also don't want someone who killed my patient not to, because something I didn't do right, right? So at the end of the day, I'm going to treat my patient, right, as if, we say you talk about the golden rule. I talk about the platinum rule, right? I want people to be treated the way they need to be treated, right? Not the way I think they need to be treated. And so my mother taught me, this is somebody's child. I don't care, who they are, what they did while they were alive or whatever. I want to treat this person as if it was my own loved one, right? I didn't go to medical school to just not do the right thing. So, and I believe, I'm not going to say I hope, I know there's more of my colleagues like me than not. But I'm not going to sit here and be naive to say I don't have colleagues that sometimes don't do the right thing or are afraid to do the right thing.
Well, they need to do the right thing.
I tend to believe that there's a high concentration of them in Mississippi and other states in the Union, the good old boy states. I tend to believe that. What is the one unanswered forensic question that you would need answered before you would be comfortable with this case of a grand jury? And I know that's outside of your scope. That's the legal side. I heard you talk about the legal side.
Well, good.
But
Right.
just as a concerned citizen,
I would want full transparency.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I want whatever you have, I want to see it. Whatever you know, I want to know. And I want competent people, people who, like I said, who want to do the right thing. But everything I would need to take to the grand jury, whatever documentation you have, whatever it is, whether you think it's not significant, right? Let me make that decision, right? And then put it in the hands of, the prosecutor, put it in the hands of the jurors, But in order for the grand jury to be able to make a decision, we got to give them all the information. If we don't have all the information to give, then how are they going to make a knowledgeable, decision on which way to go? So before anything is taken to the grand jury, you need everything.
Okay.
Whatever, you need everything. So, especially you don't have at least I don't know, right? What does the final autopsy report say, including toxicology, right? Nobody knows. No one has said anything about the toxicology.
Nope, nothing.
I know there's information about Nolan can swim, right? Just because you can swim doesn't mean you can't drown, right? Did he have anything in his system? So if he was a good swimmer, did he get disoriented underneath the water and couldn't tell up from down because he had substances in his system? We don't know. So until the final autopsy report comes back, those.
Well, I did hear somebody say that he did not have no drugs in his system. I forgot where I heard it from, but I did hear that. I don't know if y'all in the chat heard it, but I did hear that. I forgot where I heard it from. I can't remember.
That report might have more answers. Well, I hope it should have more answers than we have questions right now.
Yeah. So one last question. Question. What grade would you give the medical examiner in the handling of the Nolan Wells autopsy? Mississippi Medical Examiner Stacey Turner.
0.
Your turn. A, B, C, D, E, A, B, C, D, E.
I would give it an incomplete right now because I don't know. It would be unfair for me to assess because I haven't seen their autopsy report. So it wouldn't be fair for me to grade them. From what I know, I don't see anything that's, suspicious from the medical examiner side. They did the autopsy. Dr. Mitchell did the second autopsy. I'm not seeing anything that Dr. Mitchell is saying that there's wrong with the first autopsy. So
shit, he couldn't find nothing to see if anything was wrong.
The report,
everything he needed to see was not
report,
there.
Not the preliminary report. I want to see the autopsies, the photographs, their cause of death, their manner of death, their opinion, right? So some pathologists write an opinion, especially when it's undetermined. I want to see what information they have. As a forensic pathologist, I know there's information that the public doesn't know. I know that, right? There's conversations that have been had and information that's been shared that we don't know. So until the final report comes out, it wouldn't be fair of me to give this pathologist a grade. That would not be fair. So
you give it an E for effort.
Definitely E for effort, and it's an incomplete right now until you wait till the final project is turned in before I can give it a grade.
Okay, well, I can go ahead and give a grade because I don't have to be as professional. I'm giving it a F minus.
Oh my goodness.
F minus. She's the worst of the worst. And I'm not just giving her this F minus because of the Nolan Wells case. See, remember, y'all, when we were in school, sometimes your teacher would give you the curve, that you would make the curve because and upgrade you because you had good effort, or maybe you didn't give the teacher any additional problems. You was a quiet student. You didn't have any behavior issues. So instead of getting that C, you got a B. You know what I'm saying? Instead of getting an F, you got a D. That she just bump you up a little bit. Well, in this case, I'm looking at the history of this medical examiner where she has other cases of Black males who died under mysterious circumstances, who were suspected of being murdered by white folks. She has a sordid history for this. And
absolutely,
the way this case is evolving, it appears to be on par with her past evaluations and examinations and determinations. And I'm like, yo, I don't trust this chick. I do not trust her as far as I can throw her. So that's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
And that's a fair assessment because you have other information that I don't have. Like I said, I don't know her. I don't know her work, but I would definitely say if there's a pattern, then it needs to be looked at by an independent pathologist.
Well, maybe you need to go look her up, baby. Go look her up. You will see it.
Because if it's not, it's going to keep happening. Correct?
Facts.
And that's why I talk about putting your trust into the system that's in your state, in your county, because I always say it's not if it happens, it's when it happens. And when something happens, when it's your loved one, right, you want to be able to trust that not only are they being treated respectfully, that the person that is doing their examination, determining their cause of death, determining their manner of death, is doing it properly, with integrity. Sometimes people don't want to hear the answers, but if you impart that trust in them, not only in them, but in the whole community, right? Because that's who we treat. We're treating the whole community because we don't want another Nolan Wells, right? I know this is my job, but if I can prevent deaths, I'd be much happier, right? But as long as I'm doing this job, my role is to keep our community safe, right? And if the community doesn't trust me that I'm giving them the right information or the right tools, then what are we doing? Right? So if the community does not trust the system, then the community needs to come together to do something, because if not, it's not going to change. Right? And we can sit back and have these discussions all day and
Yeah,
talk
she needs to
about
go.
how
She
many
needs to go.
cases of Black and brown men are dying under suspicious causes. Why do we don't want to keep telling that story? Right? So we have to take our recommendations off of the paper and put them in action.
Right on.
So
Right on. I absolutely 100% concur. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Jan Thompson Corniak. I've got to say Corniak. Gorniak. Hey, I appreciate you for coming on the show. Thank you.
well, thank you for inviting me.
Especially, and I know I interrupted your day, and this was short notice, but I had to get you on. If I could, I had to shoot my shot. So I appreciate you appreciating me.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad I can lend some knowledge to you and your audience.
It was extremely good knowledge, valuable knowledge, and I appreciate you once again.
Thank you.
All right. All right, fam. Check this out now. I need to give y'all an update. Give you an update. Y'all know the roast of Willie D is going down. It's Willie D, the roast of Willie. Here's a flyer right here. You know what? Let me just bring y'all to the page. This is the roast of Willie D, cooked by legends, hosted by Roastmaster by D.L. Hughley. And we got Cedric Entertainer is one of the featured roasters. And I got a bunch more, fam. I got some of the funniest people in the world that's going to be roasting me at the Smart Financial Center in H-Town, baby. October 28th. It's going down in celebration of my 60th birthday. You dig what I'm saying? Now, this is why I say 60 real strong and loud, fam. See, some of y'all be running from y'all age. Y'all be scared to tell people how old y'all are. I ain't never been scared to tell people how old I am, because many people didn't get to see whatever year it was that I became. Like, it's so many people didn't get to see 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 60. So I want all of mine. Don't, when you see me, don't be like, hey man, how I see you turning 45. No, hell no, man. You just gypped me 15 years.
Okay, hold. Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know. I just think that lady need to be fired. I really do. I don't know what to say, y'all. I don't know what to say about this case no more neither. It's just okay.
Christine got backup. Yeah, because now
That they
his
are
cousin
sisters.
Aneva Crandall wrote on Facebook.
Hold on. Let me take it back a little bit, y'all.
Her character, her career, and even the way she grieves.
This Christina's sister.
Yeah. Well, Christine got backup. Yeah, because now her cousin is speaking up and saying enough is enough. This is what Christine's cousin Aneva Crandall wrote on Facebook. Spoiler alert. This is heavy, fam. Very, very. Some of you meeting her in the middle of the most devastating chapter of her life. Now, unfortunately, some have chosen to form opinions about who she is based solely on how she has survived it. But I know her. I knew her before the heartbreak, before the grief, before Nolan's name was known by people who had never met him, before strangers felt entitled to analyze her words, her actions, her emotions, or the way she chooses to carry an unimaginable loss. I know her heart. I know her kindness. I know the goofy, silly side of her that can have you laughing until your stomach hurts. I know the love she has for people. I know the nurse that she is. I know the healthcare provider that she is. I know the parts of her that will never make it to social media, the quiet parts, the tender parts, the parts only those who have truly shared life with her get the privilege of knowing. These pictures span years, different seasons, different versions of us. And when I look at them, I'm reminded that Christine did not suddenly become a person on the day tragedy found her. She had a whole life, a whole heart, a whole story long before the world started watching. So when people speak about her as though they have her figured out because they've watched a month of her grief from a distance, I wish they could understand this. You are witnessing a woman surviving something you pray you never have to experience.
That's
You are
true.
not witnessing the entirety of who she is. Until you've walked this road, buried your child, and carried the unimaginable weight that Christine and Elmore carry every single day, your opinions are just that, opinions. It's easy to critique someone else's journey from the outside when you've never had to survive it yourself.
Yeah.
And because I know her, not just of her, I will continue to cover her in prayer, stand beside her, defend her when necessary, and remind her of who she is when the weight of everything around her becomes too heavy. My prayer for you, Christine, my beautiful cousin, is that God continues to strengthen you. I pray He gives you the endurance to carry the cross He has entrusted to you, even on the days it feels impossibly heavy. May He grant you peace when your mind is overwhelmed, courage when the road ahead feels impossible, and wisdom for every single decision that has to be made. May He protect your heart and mind from the cruelty of people who speak from places of ignorance and never allow their opinions to become louder than the truth of who God says you are. The same God who sees every hidden thing and knows every detail will not abandon you in this fight. May He surround you with people who know your heart, who will pray when you don't have the words, stand when your knees feel weak, and remind you that you never have to carry this alone. And above everything else, I pray that truth prevails and that God continues to carry you through every single day ahead. I love you. I know you. And I'm with you. Nolan Wells, Forever 18. I ain't got no problem with that. Hey, that was absolutely beautiful. I'm talking about absolutely beautiful. That's her right there. Um, so let's go through some of the pictures. You know what I'm saying? Let's take a trip down memory lane and go through some of those pictures. Okay, so there's Aniva and Christine, cousins, besties. This is beautiful, man. This is beautiful. This is what cousins are for. You go through everything, you stick together and, you know, you protect each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like Cuz is also in healthcare, working in some capacity, helping people. That's what they do. Helping people. I
Yeah.
ain't got no problem with that. That's all right. Okay, we're getting into other family business. That ain't necessary. Okay. It was important for me to share that letter with you guys because we've heard from pundits, commentators, lawyers, content creators, trolls. What we haven't heard from is family outside of Christine and Elmore. I'm talking about family who know her, know her. This is one of her closest cousins. She knows her personally. That's important because she's speaking about the woman she actually knows, not the version of Christine created by strangers on social media. Christine has become a target instead of just Nolan's mother.
Yeah.
So instead of people scrutinizing
I just don't understand what's
the
going on.
investigation or the investigators, they're scrutinizing.
All right, y'all, let's move along. Let's see here what I can do next. Let's see. Hold on. Let me see. Let me go to. I think I'm just going to play half of his from yesterday. I don't know, y'all, about this case. I just don't know. Um, let's play half of this.
You're building this community with me. I'm so happy that you are interested in the news and Fayetteville, Georgia, Gary, Indiana. How are you, Gary, Indiana? Let us know in the chats. Birmingham, Alabama. So good evening. There are two things happening right now in the Nolan Wells case, and together they tell you where I believe this story is right now. So Nolan's family is digging deeper. They have, this is according to reports, subpoenaed CETO records from July 4th and hired audio engineers to analyze the original distress call. Again, reported the subpoena CETO calls, CETO over July 4th calls. Again, so that is on the TMZ as well. And those are the reports, okay? At least one of the reports. So
TMZ is a big lie anyway.
Lawyers for Warren Hudson, Jax Patalo, and Morgan Seymour have sent Al Sharpton a 19-page pre-suit defamation demand that's accusing them of making statements that falsely suggested that their clients were involved in Nolan's death or covered something up. Okay, so this is, let me see, this is from the attorney that the producers have given me here. We are serving Al Sharpton with a powerhouse and urgently necessary 19-page
Al Sharpton don't care.
I will hold accountable to the maximum extent of the law all individuals who defame completely innocent young men, Warren Hudson, Jax Patillo, and Morgan Seymour. We will restore their good names without bias, fear, or hesitation, added Officer Tater here. I don't know who the rest of those people are. Okay, I guess Cox would be someone who works with him, and I don't know who this area is. But anyways, so there you have it. So one side is saying, give us the evidence. The other side is saying, be careful what you accuse us of, what you say about my clients. And both of those things can be true, and they are true, right? So let's start with the CETO call, because people have been obsessing over this CETO call for weeks now. The boat is taking on water. The caller sounds frantic. That's what they say, but he doesn't sound that frantic there. He just sounded sort of, out of it, maybe looking around to figure it out. It didn't really sound frantic. Andy, I don't know. I didn't ask you for the call, but if you have it, find it while I'm doing this and just holler in my ear and let me know. Pardon me for that. So the dispatcher asks whether everyone is on board and okay. And then the answer is, yeah, everyone is on board, okay? But investigators have said that witnesses told them that Nolan was left behind on Horn Island. So that doesn't prove that Nolan was on the boat. It does not prove anybody lied. There were multiple people, multiple boats. There was confusion, and it was a stressful situation. Here is that call.
Connect you.
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
No,
Shut up! Shut the fuck up!
Sir. Can give you a description, ankles.
What'd you say?
Now they can admit that they heard him say, "Oh, shut the fuck up," but they can admit to all the other things that they heard him say. Nah, y'all have y'all seen Mr. Potato? Cause I ain't seen him in a while. He been around. Have anybody seen him? He's still around. Cause I ain't seen nobody talk about him. I ain't seen the boys nowhere.
Hey,
Yes. How far is the water coming up, sir?
it's coming up. It's. We're just thinking. I don't know. Like we're going down.
All right. Well, let's get you going. Membership number or phone number listed on the account, sir.
I don't know the phone number. It's either. I think it's. Try that.
All right.
I know we have a membership like guaranteed. I don't have the tag on here. It got ripped
membership
off.
number or anything. It's okay. I'll get you over to the captain. What's the best phone number to reach you at?
Reach me at 2.
All right. And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody's
How
on
many-
board.
All right. Do you need the United States
Yes,
Coast Guard?
Auntie Barb, I believe
Okay.
that. I don't think we'll
So he
never
said,
know.
she said, is everybody on board in good health otherwise? And then he says, yeah, everybody's okay. So look, that doesn't prove it. That doesn't prove anything that people are saying, well, it meant that Nolan was on board. Nothing like that. But it creates a question. And when an 18-year-old disappears and turns up, dead 2 days later, you follow that question. But the thing is that I put some of the onus on the investigators and their, as you guys have heard me say this entire time, on their inability to update people. And they can do it without sharing or messing up the investigation. Excuse me. And police departments, investigative agencies all over the country do it. All over the world, they do it without ruining an investigation. It happens all the time, every single day. And you hear people giving updates on things that happen, or they'll just say, oh, we can't discuss that. We don't know about that, whatever. And so that, I think, would help to tamp down some of the things. Because as I said before, this doesn't prove anything. It doesn't disprove anything. But where that void is, people are going to make up in their minds. They're going to fill it in their minds. Now, the family is reportedly asking for much more than the clip that we all heard. They want original recordings. They want dispatch recordings. They want communications, information about who handled the call and what happened around it, that call. Good, okay. Because social media has turned that audio into a Rorschach test. People swear that they hear Nolan's name. Others swear they hear someone asking whether somebody is dead. Other people hear nothing close to that. I say enough guessing here. Give the original audio to qualify determined. Now, I'm sure the audio engineer, the audio technician person before was.
Now, if you think that they're going to give this to a professional audio and let them do it, the Mississippi, do you think they're going to really tell the truth? No, the hell they ain't. They ain't even telling the truth what really going on now. Now, we know that Nolan, Nolan and them moms sitting to an expert on behalf of Ben Crump and them people. We know they did. We just waiting for it to come back. That's gonna be the only way we would know the real truth of what was on that recording. But leaving it to Mississippi to do that, if they do it, we ain't gonna know the truth. They're gonna lie. They don't even want to tell us the truth about what really going on with this boy case at all right now. So we ain't gonna hear the truth. So no, hell no. And Al Sharpton ain't backing down, honey. He sent the blow. He said his attorney will write back. Because listen, they want Al Sharpton to apologize. Al Sharpton ain't stupid. He's not going to apologize because Al Sharpton, if you want to be honest, he never said anything about them boys. He don't even know those boys' names. He never said nothing about those boys. See, now this lawyer may be trying to open up a lawsuit that he don't want because everything gonna come out now, y'all. This might be the key that we need to find out what really happened to Nolan, because everything gonna have to come out. If Al Sharpton say, do what you do, his lawyer, and this case go to court, everything gonna have to come out, y'all. Everything gonna have to come out. everything. And this might be the only key witness and that we get, to what happened to Nolan. Because seems like we ain't going to get it from Mississippi. I'm just saying.
Qualified, but it's not part of the official investigation. So put it into the official record and have it be part of the investigation. This is also why I think this lawsuit threat against Al Sharpton, it needs to be really looked at carefully. Because Warren Hudson, Jack Spatalo, and Morgan Seymour, which is weird because was that the original one? The original person was Warren Hudson, right? Was that the guy who did the interview first?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, okay, that was the guy. Now, Jack Spatalo and Morgan Seymour, I wouldn't know them from Adam. No, from any of the kids that were in the second interview with the attorney, I'd never seen them before. The only one I had seen was the one who put himself in front of Officer Tater. And so I knew his face, and his name is Warren. Okay, yeah, so that one, the one with the sort of pink shirt, that was the one who did the interviews. The other ones, I don't know. Maybe they did some interviews. I'd never seen them. I don't know who they are. But these three young men, or no one, not even these three young men. I'm talking about the people, the guy in the khakis on the right with the green sort of camouflage looking pullover. That's with the baseball cap. That's the attorney. The other guys are the guys that are involved. Now, let me just say this. These young men, if these are indeed the name of the people who are in this thing, besides I know Warren is the one, they have not been charged with anything to do with Nolan's death. They've been charged with killing Nolan Wells at all. No, they have not. Authorities have not said that they caused his death.
And they're not going to say that.
And their lawyers say that they have been falsely accused.
Nobody accused them. They accused themselves.
That matters, but if investigators are not, I don't, okay.
All
that
the
matters,
guilt, all
but
the
asking
guilt
questions about inconsistencies, timelines, and evidence is not the same as accusing someone of unaliving somebody.
That's right.
It's not the same thing. Asking questions about it, reporting that people are saying these things, that's not exactly accusing somebody of the big M word. You know, YouTube is got to be careful about saying those things. Sometimes it picks it up, sometimes it doesn't. So if Sharpton crossed a legal line, lawyers can fight that out. But a defamation dispute does not answer what happened to Nolan. And that is still the center of this story. Now, what do the original CETO records show? And the thing is, what can the audio engineers establish, right? Because people don't know. You may, look, as the attorneys or someone who's outside of the official investigation, you can say all this stuff, but it's still not part of the official investigation. What the Wells family says is not part of the official investigation, what the attorneys say. And the other side, the young men, that's not part of the official investigation. These are people defending their clients. And then you have the investigation right here. And so people may be saying things based on what they're hearing and what's the reports that are out there, and they don't know. So the attorneys may say they know this, and how dare you say that? There's no malice there because you don't know. So for defamation and slander, I'm not an attorney, I'm just saying, there would have to be an intent to intentionally malign someone.
Yeah.
Because you know something not to be true.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't know it and no one is saying it, I don't know.
He's trying to bully our shop.
Especially if you have stopped short of accusing someone. But if you didn't, that's a whole nother. I mean, if you did, if you accuse someone directly, that's a whole nother show, as they say. So if all that supports the friend's account, then say so. So that helps them too. If something does not line up, then investigators need to explain that. Because every time officials leave a blank space, the internet fills it.
Yeah,
usually with the
true.
worst possible version. And that is how you end up with accusations, with threats, with lawyers, and everybody choosing sides before the public even knows what happened. Nolan Wells went to Horn Island alive. 2 days later, his body was found along the shoreline. His family still wants to know what happened in between. That's reasonable. Now they're subpoenaing records and hiring experts to find out. And that is where I would keep the focus. Follow the evidence. Let the evidence tell us where it goes. That's what we've been saying from the beginning. And then we're going to keep asking
we trying
questions.
to follow,
we're
but
going to
we
keep
don't know
doing
where
this
to follow
story
them at.
until they get some
'Cause
answers,
they ain't
no matter
saying
what the
nothing.
outcome is.
Shit.
And the family has said as much. Daniel Grimes is our Washington, D.C. correspondent. He is following this story for us. Daniel, as we say, the legal battle has escalated here in the Nolan Wells death investigation.
Yeah, I mean, good evening, Don. It certainly has. We know that there's now that pre-lawsuit that is coming from the friend's attorney, but I'm going to first focus on the fact that last week happened on Thursday. We know Nolan's mom, Christine, filed 2 subpoenas on Thursday, one for Cito Services International and a separate one for Ward Marine Services, basically both of those companies that operate the Cito, Mississippi, one that is the international, kind of the big firm, and then one that's just Mississippi focused. So for Cito, she wants everything related to July 4th. So basically calls, recordings, dispatch records, anything that showed the response and what happened on July 4th. She's also asking for training materials and any written procedures for handling reports of boats that are taking on water. She wants to know, again, we know that the friends there have said, hey, our boat was taking on water because of the valve
she
was
not
broken.
playing.
And so she's saying, okay, if that's the truth, then I want to know, how would someone respond to that? And what are the protocols for handling that style of a phone call? Now, that is for the Cito. For the Ward Marine, that's the actual Mississippi one. She's going even further. That she says she wants everything tied to that incident, that Nolan was on. She also wants any communications about that incident and any records that show whether any of them changed or ended Cito's response.
Wow.
So she's she issued that subpoena last week, calling for all of that information related to the July 4th incident. As again, she's just looking to find out what happened to her son.
She's not playing.
Daniel, and so
She's definitely not
so
playing.
they have subpoenaed the records, and they have also hired, I don't know if you spoke about this because I lost connectivity for a moment. They've also hired reportedly an audio expert to examine everything. That's why they're subpoenaing it, because they want the audio to their own personal engineer or audio technician to look at it.
Told you.
Yeah, that's right, Don. We had the young woman who was honestly just did this on her own volition, just wanted to help out in this case. We spoke to her a couple of weeks ago. So the family's now saying, listen, we want the independent audio. There were some folks who said the audio that she was operating off was fake, wasn't the real audio. So the family's like, all right, we want the actual audio of that 911, of that call to Cito that day. And then we want an independent person to analyze that audio. So there are some folks who are saying you could hear Nolan, you could hear, is Nolan dead? You could hear a lot of things in the tape that was cleared up a couple of weeks ago. The family, they're not taking any chances. They're saying, well, listen, we want the authentic original audio, and we want our own analysis, our own expert analysis of what's actually on that tape.
And so then now you have the attorneys for the young men, as I mentioned in the opening monologue, our opening statement, as we call it. So then you have the lawyers saying that they are sending a letter of an intent to sue Al Sharpton. Here's a report on that, and then Daniel and I will discuss.
Developing tonight, a Pascagoula law firm says 3 friends of Nolan Wells plan to sue the Reverend Al Sharpton for defamation, as well as death investigation continues.
Yes.
Taylor and Cox law firm said it would serve Reverend Sharpton with a 19-page pre-litigation defamation demand on behalf of 3 of Wells' friends. The firm claims Sharpton used a vigil as a platform to smear those friends. It says it will take legal action in 10 days if he does not apologize, retract, and delete his statements. Sharpton's law firm responded tonight saying that he welcomes the lawsuit and his attorneys will be in touch.
Ha! That was that. Hey, what y'all get from that?
Okay.
That was a
He's
straight
saying,
shot. Tell
go
him
ahead
do what
and
he
do
got to
it. The
do.
interesting thing, Daniel, before you respond, is that
That's a straight shot right there. Al Sharpton lawyers trying to tell him, hey, do what you got to do. Because now, if they do that, y'all, it's going to open up a lot of shit. They're going to have to come out with a lot of stuff about Nolan, a lot of stuff. They're going to want everything. This may be the only reason, y'all, we find out what happened to Nolan. That's why Al Sharpton is doing what he's doing, probably, you know, in my opinion. For one. For two, because he never said them boys did anything. I never heard Al Sharpton say that. I never heard him name one of those boys. So, hey, this may be the break that we need. Because seems like Mississippi ain't doing a doggone thing. Nothing. Nada.
they said a vigil. They did not say the memorial service, right? And so the only vigil that has been had that Al Sharpton, to my recollection, has been part of, would be the one on his birthday, where he made this statement. Roll it.
There are now over 551 of you on to break into your day and to try and pray and give strength to this family. Let me thank Crump, who's worked tirelessly. I've been told that one of the people that was with Nolan has been online watching this. If you want to come forward, call us. I'll give you an attorney. I'll pay for your attorney of your choice. We just want the truth. If you have nothing to really be concerned about, then you should step forward. All these parents have said from the beginning is they want the truth. So if you want to join in on what we're seeking, you're welcome, man, who we should be celebrating his birthday today. Let me thank all of you that took time.
Okay, so there you go. So I don't know.
No names.
I mean, again, I'm not an attorney. That didn't sound like accusing someone. But
Sure
what do you get from that as a layperson?
Don, that letter that was sent to Sharpton does cite that August 19th vigil, the one you just played. It also cites a July 14th TMZ appearance where Sharpton made references to the, quote, 3 young white male friends. And so the letter is claiming that he is insinuating that they had something to do with his death, with Nolan's death. And in that TMZ interview, Sharpton basically questioned why Wells would have left his phone behind. That is a question that has been on many people's minds. They're wondering why, with in 2026, when not just someone who is a teenager, but a lot of us are constantly have our phones. Well, the attorneys and Nolan's friends have said, listen, he didn't want his phone to get wet, right? That's why he left it on the boat. And then there was nothing nefarious there. It's just he didn't want it to get wet. So that's why there's been that conflicting side. But Sharpton has said, I don't know if I buy that story. He also said one friend initially denied having the phone and the keys. And he also insinuated that the phone's contents may have been erased. And so he's simply saying there are too many unanswered questions for something to not have happened. But he has never really said that these boys did something nefarious or said they murdered Nolan. But the letter is just saying, hey, you have insinuated that. We want you to retract and to apologize.
Okay, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
And one more
Go
thing.
ahead.
So as we've already said, and as was in the report, Sharpton said, I welcome this. And one of the reasons why he welcomes it, he said it at the National Association of Black Journalists the other week. He said, listen, you sue me, that means there is going to be a deposition. We know, and when you get deposed, that everything will come out in court, right?
I told y'all. I told you.
Part of the thing that Sharpton is saying there is, I welcome this because I want all of this to come out in court.
Told you. I just said that.
If something happens to Nolan, and if you are saying you know more than what you are saying currently, then prove it.
All righty.
Yeah.
Great reporting, as usual. Daniel Grimes, and he's wearing a pretty conservative shirt today.
Oh yeah, well, I had to be conservative after meeting our friend Mr. Funky Danila over the weekend. So
we'll discuss later
in our private.
Yeah, a little bit later on. Thank you very much. We'll see Daniel a little bit later on in the private chat, and perhaps later in the show. He is a guest that he has booked. Let's see. Is it Emmanuel? I don't know. Anyways, thank you very much. We're gonna get to Donald Trump is.
I don't want to hear nothing about Donald Trump. I don't care about Donald Trump. I don't care nothing about Donald Trump at all. But I said that, y'all, Al Sharpton know what he's doing. Okay? He know exactly what he's doing, y'all. Hey, he know if this, if he gets sued, everything gonna have to come out, So he probably gonna debate him and come on, bring it. I just feel like it's crazy, the family don't know nothing. After a while, to be honest about this case, it ain't gonna be nothing to talk about after a while because we're not getting no updates on the case. We're not getting no updates on anything when it comes to Nolan. So I don't know. I mean, I see some people still talking. I see some people, they done went on with different commentary. And sometimes you have to do that because you don't know what's really going to go on. You don't want to stay on the same thing forever, because there's no updates at all. Some people may be like, oh, yeah, it's an update, just to put something out. I'm just not going to say that just to put something out because I don't know if it's true or false. So I'm not going to, say it because I really, don't know, But, yeah. We don't know what's going to go on with Karmelo. We just know it's something that his attorneys is fighting for another appeal. So, I don't know, y'all. I'll see what's next on the menu. Because I really don't know. I don't know. Yeah, it is that guilt making them feel that way. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And maybe I don't even know if Mr. Potato said anything lately. I ain't heard him say nothing lately. I ain't heard nothing from him. So maybe he been quiet. I have not seen Nancy Grace cover this in a couple of days now. I don't know if they gave her the cease and desist. I don't know what's going on, but maybe she just stopped, but she haven't covered it. I haven't seen the boys out here saying nothing. So I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I'm gonna come up with some more stories and things like that. See what I can find. See what's some more stories out here. Because I don't know at this point. Yep, I really don't know. So I'm ready to get up off here, y'all. And I hope y'all enjoyed the rest of y'all day. Thank you so much, Karen, for your support. I appreciate it. Oof. It has been crazy, guys. So y'all enjoy y'all day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace and love.